Two schools synonymous with the Alabama High School Athletic Association playoffs and state championship games step out of region play and actually move down for one and move up in one in classifications as Prattville crosses the county line to face Wetumpka on a warm September night. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Holenberg Field for the Extermitech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network. Travis Jerome joined by Joseph Sims. And Joseph, before we start tonight, we want to send out our best wishes to Kane Young, who's under the weather. We hope he gets better. For those of you at home, you know Kane does play-by-play. Hopefully he'll be back next week, and we wish him a speedy recovery. But the thing tonight, Prattville, Wetumpka, not a whole lot needs to be said. Wetumpka has dominated this series here in the last few years. Prattville dominated it for years when they were 6A before the move to 7A. Caleb Ross has come in and has really changed over this Prattville Lion team. Not just the offense, but Wetumpka and Tim Perry has really taken off. And there's some things that a lot of people may not know, and a lot of people really, you know, when you say synonymous with the playoffs and state championship games, Prattville under Bill Clark, under Jamie Dubose, they made championship games. They won championship games. They dethroned Hoover. They dethroned Lee before Hoover. Wetumpka made the state championship game 2 years ago, made the semifinals last year. So you got two teams that are really powerhouses in their classifications. And 7A, 6A, this is one of those things I know you look forward to. Is it's not two 7A teams, but these two teams just play 6A, 5A. 7A, 6A, and Wetumpka's just like a 7A school.
Yeah, and definitely Wetumpka's going to come out here and they're going to play like a 7A school, like you said. And Prattville better be ready. You know, you look at some of these games, look at 6A, and they think, oh, man, we got this game. But no, Wetumpka's going to come out here and play hard, especially in a game like this here at home, and it's going to be a big one tonight. For
those of you watching at home and even maybe just listening if you're still driving, you're going to get a good old-fashioned broadcast tonight because the graphics are out, the replay is out. Everything is out due to the heat in tonight's game because of the technology. Heat doesn't fare very well, especially when you're on the rooftop here in the press box at Holenberg Field.
Oh, yeah, it's going to affect the technology tonight, and it's also going to affect the players on the field. That's a big one. You'll have heat warnings every 6 minutes in the quarter to help with the players out there in this heat.
Before we get into the keys of the game, we'll give you our sponsors for tonight's game as we do every week. And we'll start with Extermitech Pest Control, locally owned and operated. Extermitech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team voted best in Montgomery. If you have bugs bugging you, you call Extermitech. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Call 334-209-4590. Attorney Matt Matthews of ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com. Workers' compensation attorney Matt Matthews has many years of experience litigating workers' compensation cases in Alabama. If you're hurt on the job, he can get you the benefits you deserve. Visit ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com or call 334-721-4878. Mission Fitness and Performance, Parisi Speed School of Montgomery, your pregame sponsor as well as your first down sponsor, athletes and coaching staff. If you want your team to train with the best sporting performance program in the area, talk to Mission Fitness and Performance, home of the only Parisi Speed School in Alabama. Find out why Parisi Speed School has been the industry leader in sports performance training for 27 years. Located right here in the River Region, call Mission Fitness and Performance 334-318-3639 or visit missionfit.com. The Hank Williams Museum. The 6,000 square feet museum is located at 118 Commerce Street. You can take a step back in time and learn about the musical history and life of a Montgomery man who is known as the legendary singer-songwriter Hank Williams. Browse a large gift shop. Groups are always welcome. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs, celebrating 102 years in business in the capital city, located just steps from the state capitol at 138 Dexter Avenue. Chris Caters. Have Chris Hot Dogs at your next meeting or event. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Taste your tradition. Call orders in advance, 334-265-6850. One other sponsor before we turn it over to Joseph, Mac the Camera Guy. Does all your corporate events, parties, weddings, and proms, the life of the party. Mac the Camera Guy.
And we'd also like to state Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks. Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks is a locally owned and operated business. They have been in business since 1985 and serves Montgomery and the surrounding counties. Mid-State builds and installs burglar bars, AC guards, hand railings, fencing, storm doors, and more. Make sure to check out the decorative handrails, a true work of art. Call Mid-State 334-313-9015. We'd also like to thank La Zona Rosa Mexican Cafe, located at 2838 Zelda Road, minutes from downtown Montgomery. Is one of the area's finest Mexican restaurants. Check out their great build-your-own lunch and dinner selections and updated menus. Make La Zona Rosa your choice for authentic Tex-Mex and Salvadorian cuisines. Open Monday through Saturday. Call 334-274-1153. We'd also like to thank Delta Printing and Sign Company. Delta Printing and Sign Company opened in 1979 and is still local and family owned. As a second-generation business, they have stayed true to their roots. They get to know their customers and take pride in helping meet their printing needs and stay within their budget. Their goal is the same now as it was when they first opened, to provide a quality product at a competitive price, accompanied with exceptional customer service. So remember, no matter what it is, when you need signs, printings, direct mail, let Delta do it. Call 334-271-COPY. And our media partner is the station of Blue Water Broadcasting, News Talk 93.1, KISS FM 97.9, JMZ, Bama Country's 98.9, and Yo 100.5, Classic Country, The Possum 104.9, The Gump, and 107.1, The Vault. They are local folks helping local businesses. Call them today and let them help your business. 334-244-0961. A big thank you to all of our sponsors. We couldn't do without them. Please help support them.
Now we'll go to the keys of the game, Joseph, and this is something we were talking about earlier. We usually try to narrow it down to 3. We could have very easily had about 8 or 9 keys to each one of these teams, and we'll start with the home team first. We'll start with Wetumpka, and we'll go immediately to the man under center. They've got to get him running the football. He throws the ball a lot. They've got to get him in. He's got exceptional running ability. I know you're going to talk about that.
Yes, Taekwon Rawls, the man at the realms for Wetumpka. He's had a big game against Opelika last week, and Wetumpka is is a big play team, and they've got some big receiving threats on the outside, a lot of 6'2 guys, and Timothy Johnson, Joel Johnson, Jalen Johnson. So Rawls has got a lot of weapons on the outside, but it's going to be him using his feet that's going to help Wetumpka overcome Prattville tonight if they were to.
Let's talk about finishing, another key for Wetumpka. They've lost 2 games this year, combined 14 points. One of those was a 1-point loss. So they just got to find a way to finish, and it's going to be tough against the team lined up across from them.
And that's a big thing in this game especially, and you said it's going to be tough, and it is going to be tough. You know, they've gone into halftime with some leads, and then they've walked out of the stadium with a loss in hand. And they lost 2 games. They've lost those games by combined 11 points 3 times. They've been in some big games this year, just unable to finish, and it's all going to be up to Taekwon Rawls at the realms to get his team in position to finish each game.
And when you talk about finishing, and then we talk about this third key, which is scoring early and get off to a fast start, it's hard to imagine when you talk about a Wetumpka team that's 3-2, but they've scored 32 or more points in every game this year.
Yeah, they've got a huge offense, and, I mean, they've just got to make adjustments at halftime. What worked in the first half not always going to work in the second half, and that kind of goes back to the second key in finishing. You've got to, you get off to these big leads, you got to know how to keep them, and that revolves around defense. They're going to have to play strong defense against a strong Prattville offense.
Now we'll switch it, and we'll talk about Prattville a little bit. They've got to get Jaden Kidd going. That's the biggest key to the game. That was the biggest thing you talked about before we went on the air. They've got to get him going.
You know, Jalen Kidd is a big physical threat at the running back position. He runs well between the tackles, but when they don't get him going, Kyle Kramer, their quarterback, really feels like he has to take it over into his own hands, and then he forces the ball into the defense, and that results in interceptions. Turnovers are never good for an offense, so they got to stay true to who they are, which is running the football, and that's going to revolve around Jaden Kidd.
And then we go to the biggest thing. I think the biggest key that's going to get lost on everybody is when you start talking about this series, Wetumpka has dominated this series lately. So Prattville has to come in with some confidence against the team they should beat as a 7A against a 6A, but they've lost the last 2, especially here in Wetumpka.
Yeah, that's a big thing. And as a team, when you lose the last 2, a lot of these guys have been on that team that has lost against Wetumpka. And that just doesn't feel well when you continuously lose against the same team. You know, that's going to give them a little bit of a confidence boost coming on the road to Wetumpka. So they're going to have to take advantage of that and use that as a motivation. Nick Saban has a saying, never waste a failure. They've got 2 on hand the past 2 years, so it should be an interesting game tonight. And
the third key, Prattville hasn't given up a lot of these. They did in one game. They gave up several in the one game against Central Phoenix City, but it's avoiding the big play on defense.
Oh, yeah, they got to avoid the big play, and that is basically what the Wetumpka offense is. They don't have a lot of steady drives, 11-play drives. It's mostly around 3 or 4-play drives that result in big touchdowns, and Prattville's got to work on their defensive keys. Their leaders on that defense, that inside linebacker, Mason Taylor, he's got to get those guys set down, and he didn't do a great job against Central, like you mentioned. They gave a lot of big plays against Central, and Central really took advantage of those young guys on defense. So they're going to have to get that straight, especially against a powerful Wetumpka offense tonight.
Again, if you're just joining us, Travis Strom and Joseph Sims from Holenberg Field here in Wetumpka, the Mission Fitness and Performance Parisi Speed School of Montgomery pregame show. Athletes and coaching staff, if you want your team to train with the best sports performance program in the area, talk to Mission Fitness and Performance, home of the only Parisi Speed School in Alabama. Find out why Parisi Speed School has been the industry leader in sports performance training for 27 years. Located right here in the River Region. Call Mission Fitness and Performance 334-318-3639 or visit missionfit.com. Before we take our first break, again, just a reminder for those of you at home, no graphics, no breaks. The heat on the press box on the roof here at Holenberg Field, it's been over 100 degrees for at least the last week here in Wetumpka and pretty much the whole month of September. So the heat has really affected technology. It's really affected technology not only here but everywhere else. But we'll look at the schedules for both of these teams, and we'll start with the visitors from Prattville. They started the year off with 2 shutouts. They defeated Foley 39-0 on the road, beat Stanhope, who many would consider Prattville's rival, but that has switched over now when you go 6A to Wetumpka. Their big 7A rival is, of course, Lee. But you look at Stanhope Elmore, they beat 42-0. They lose to Central 45-20. They beat Enterprise on the road 28-14. After this week, they get the school we just talked about. They get Lee at home on October 4th. They follow that up against Jeff Davis, and then a big one against Auburn as well. So they've got 3 big games out of 4 coming up, and they've really got to don't look ahead to Lee and Auburn. You've got to really focus on Wetumpka right now.
And you do have to focus on Wetumpka. And it's going to be hard to look at that schedule and not look right at Lee and Auburn, those 2 big powerhouses in their region. Lee at the top of the region right now, along with Central after beating Auburn on Friday the 13th. But Prattville, you got to go 1-1 or 1-0 every week is what most coaches will say. So they got some big games coming up, but they got a big hand in front of them tonight.
Wetumpka, the same thing. They started out with a road win at Fairhope, 35-24. They lost to the new-look Dothan team. 2 schools joined in one, 54-41 on the road. They lost to Calera on the road, 35-7. Lost to Opelika, beat Calera on the road, 35-7. Lost to Opelika by a point, which you hit on 33-32. They beat Buckhorn 44-28. That game was played at Jacksonville State. But the biggest thing on their schedule, this is their first home game. But, again, they can't look ahead. They've got Stanhope Elmore here next week, a big region game, especially after dropping that game against Opelika.
Oh, yeah, and like you said, this is their first home game, so I know this crowd is excited to finally be back at home. But it really builds character when you go on the road and are able to have a little bit of success. Of course, they've lost a few games there, just 2, I think. And so, I mean, it really builds success when you have victories on the road, but it's a lot more fun to play at home than on the road.
So we'll take a quick break, and for those of you expecting commercials, we're going to leave it here and let you see the stadium as the fans continue to pile in as Prattville comes across the county line. The city of Wetumpka has started to fill in their stands. Cars and trucks are still piling into the parking lot as we're about 15 minutes away from the coin toss, 17 minutes away from kickoff here at Holenberg Field in Wetumpka, Alabama. You're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week, brought to you by the Montgomery Sports Network.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590. If you're injured on the job, the law requires your employer to pay your medical expenses and cover your lost wages for any work-related injury. Employers and their insurers often try to deny workers' compensation claims or limit your benefits. Whether you're totally disabled and cannot work, or if you've suffered some impairment, attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating. For more information, go to the website protectingalworkers.com. That's protectingalworkers.com.
Montgomery's new at-work station is 96.1 KISS FM. The biggest and best playlist and long sets of non-stop music.
But I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell.
96.1 KISS FM.
Send my love to your new life.
Just the music you know and love.
Don't stop.
Montgomery's new at-work radio station.
Kiss FM.
Baby, you see, I cannot set you free. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go.
It was 1917. Charlie Chaplin appeared as the Little Tramp, Walt Disney graduated from high school, and Woodrow Wilson was reelected president. And in Montgomery, Chris's sold their very first hot dog. Move forward to the 1950s. Hank Williams was hanging out at Chris's. Up through the 70s and 80s, many stars and politicians discovered Montgomery's little secret. Jump ahead to the new millennium. Riverwalk Stadium, the alleyway, and the new downtown. It's now 100 years later, and Chris's is still serving their world-famous hot dogs at 138 Dexter Avenue. How long has it been since you've tasted the city's most famous hot dog? Make Chris's part of your family history. Still family-owned and operated, Chris's makes every hot dog and hamburger to order. Take Chris's to your next party or event. Call-in orders are welcome. Online at chrishotdogs.com and on Facebook. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Taste the tradition.
Experience the history of the first country music superstar and see how Hank Williams transformed country music and sowed the seeds of what was to become American music. Visit the Hank Williams Museum, nestled in historic downtown Montgomery, Alabama. The Hank Williams Museum is one of the top tourist attractions in Alabama. Museum hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturday, and 1 to 4 on Sunday. And they offer group rates, AAA, and military discounts.
Welcome back to Holenberg Field here in Wetumpka, Alabama. Travis Strom and Joseph Sims alongside with you. The Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network. Cross-county rivals, or Autauga and Elmore County rivals, whatever you want to call them. These two schools are basically one city schools when you think about Prattville and Wetumpka. There's a lot of private schools around. These are the only two public high schools in their counties, Prattville, or in their cities. Prattville's in Prattville. We used to have Marbury in Autauga County, but you also have Wetumpka here in Elmore County. These two teams have played for years. If you wouldn't know any better, you would think this is a region game coming in because of just the atmosphere is already. The Wetumpka student section is filled to capacity. Fans are still coming in on Wetumpka's side. Fans still coming in on the Prattville side. The field, Joseph, the field that's back here that people can't see, that'll be to our right behind the scoreboard, that thing will be full in about 20 minutes when the city of Wetumpka and the city of Prattville get here. Traffic, if you think about it, if you come across the bridge coming into downtown Wetumpka, is already packed. Traffic's lined back up to 231. If you're coming in off the old way, off of Old Coosa Road, it's going to be backed up over the river bridge there as well. So if you're trying to get here, you might as well go in and get in your car now because you might get here by midway through the first quarter. But this place will be packed to capacity. If you've never been here for a game, folks, I invite you. If you've never been to a game at Prattville at Stanley Jensen Stadium when these two teams play, I invite you to go there as well. These two teams will pack out any stadium they play in, and they travel very well.
They sure do, and Wetumpka's used to traveling. We already mentioned that this is their first home game, so they like to travel apparently here in Wetumpka. And you mentioned that this is really kind of got the only public school situation in their counties, and that's big. When you're an athlete, you really want to go to a public school as they get the city funding for athletics.
And the thing too is when you look at these two teams, you got a Prattville team that was very good under Bill Clark, was very good under Jamie Dubose. They had a spell of about 3 years where they were really middle of the pack in their region, bottom of the pack in their region, missed the playoffs. You got a Wetumpka team that has really taken the reins here in the River region and has taken that push and taken the attention by making that state championship game, even though they lost to Pinson Valley, and then falling in the semifinals the next year. But these two teams this year are very even. They may be 7A, 6A, but when you look at the athletes on each side, they're even. There is no, I'm Prattville, I'm 7A, you're Wetumpka, you're 6A. I've got more athletes than you do, or I'm Wetumpka, I've been to the state semis and the championship game the last 2 years. You've been down, I got more athletes than you do, Prattville. This is a game where these two teams are evenly matched.
And you say they're evenly matched, and it's true, and it's funny that they are because they play two different styles of football. And you look at the Prattville offense, and you got the traditional spread look with their pocket passer and Kyle Kramer, and then you look at Wetumpka's offense with Taekwon Rawls, and he's running, some option, a little bit of dual threat quarterback all the way, running right up the middle, old school football. But like you said, they're very evenly matched, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, and you hit on it in the beginning about the keys to the game, and we'll get it real quick before the national anthem. You talk about Wetumpka having a strike early. You got a guy that like Cavassier Smoke and Bubba Adams, and we'll talk about that as the colors are being presented right now. We'll step aside for the playing of our country's national anthem. You're watching the Exterminatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Please remain standing while the flag exits the field and also for the playing of the Wetumpka High School alma mater.
That was the national anthem performed by the Wetumpka High School Marching Band as the colors exit the field. And I'm pretty sure if you look down on the sideline, Joseph, there's a line of about, 30, 35, maybe first responders here from the city of Wetumpka. This is the first game that's going to be played in the city of Wetumpka here at Oldenburg Field since that devastating tornado that ripped through downtown Wetumpka back in the springtime. So you've got those guys and those ladies and gentlemen that will be standing out on the field. That may not be what they're there for, but of course that is one thing that still rings true here to the city of Wetumpka and has brought the city a lot closer. Everybody from every corner of the city has come together, and even the city of Prattville chipped in and helped with debris and the construction here in Wetumpka. So these two teams may be rivals, but at the end of the day, they put everything aside when it comes to the well-being of the citizens of each of these cities.
Yeah, they'll put everything aside when it comes, like I said, the well-being of the cities and helping each other out. But when you get on that football field, that all changes. They're going to go at each other tonight.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. We're about 9 minutes away from the start of this contest about 4 or 5 minutes away from the coin toss here on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network. We'll pause as they do this honor for the first responders.
Every day these men and women provide a vital service to our communities through their selfless act to protect our families. Oftentimes, just running to danger without regard to their own safety to serve and protect. It's this great gratitude and appreciation we thank them for their efforts to keep us all safe. Please join me in celebrating tonight's honorary game captains, members of the Wetumpka Fire Department, Wetumpka Police Department, and the Elmore County Sheriff's Department. Thank you for all your service to our great community.
Again, not only are they recognizing them tonight, they name an honorary captain. So Wetumpka comes in their first home game, been on the road for the first 4 or 5 weeks, first home game since the spring. And now you've got all of the first responders on the sideline as your honorary captains. If that can't get you ready to go for your first home game of the year, I don't know what can get you going for the first home game of the year.
Man, and these people out here are ready for some football. And like you said, that's got to get a team going. That's got to get them excited. And coming up here on the coin toss, you might look for them just to go ahead. And if they win it, they definitely probably are going to look to receive the football and get that offense, that electric offense on the field first.
So for those of you watching at home, we're still in the Mission Fitness and Performance Parisi Speed School of Montgomery pregame show. Wetumpka will be on the near side, which is right below us. You will see the Prattville side across the stadium from you. Wetumpka will be in the gray tops, with the black bottoms. They look black from the distance with the gold numbers. Prattville will come out with their white tops, red pants. So for those of you that will be scoring at home, that's how you can keep up with it. And then we'll have the coin toss here in just a minute. We'll pause for a couple of minutes here on the pregame show. You're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Experience the history of the first country music superstar and see how Hank Williams transformed country music and sowed the seeds of what was to become American music. Visit the Hank Williams Museum, nestled in historic downtown Montgomery, Alabama. The Hank Williams Museum is one of the top tourist attractions in Alabama. Museum hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturday, and 1 to 4 on Sunday. And they offer group rates, AAA, and military discounts.
I had a dream, a beautiful dream. I couldn't believe how real it seemed. Up on stage, in the field of green, on the winding river, and a song you'll sing. When I wake up, I'll see you here in Montgomery, where dreams come true.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
Selfie. Nailed it.
Montgomery's best country is on Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Bama Country with Bubba and Christy every weekday morning 5:30 to 10 a.m.
We're gonna have a house party.
Bama Country, playing today's best country and all the country legends. Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Listen to Bama Country 98.9 WBAM.
Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks Incorporated is a locally owned and operated business in Montgomery, Alabama. And we've been in business since 1985 and served Montgomery and the surrounding counties with burglar bars, ironworks. Our philosophy is being honest, dependable, and treating each customer with respect and selling a quality product at a fair price. If you need burglar bars or ironwork of any kind, call Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks, Montgomery.
voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Welcome back to the Mission Fitness and Performance Parisi Speed School of Montgomery pregame show on the Extermitech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network. Travis Strome, Joseph Sims alongside with you here at Holenberg Field in downtown Wetumpka, Alabama. Prattville High School, Wetumpka High School ready to do battle in a non-region game, 7A, 6A again. Want to give our best wishes to Kane Young, who's usually on play-by-play duties here every night for a speedy recovery under the weather this week. And also, if you're looking for the graphics, the scores, anything that we usually have during the game, the keys to the game, commercial breaks, all those commercial breaks will stay here at the stadium. The heat, the I don't even know how to say it, but the 100-degree weather that's stuck around for the whole month of September has really wreaked havoc here in not only Wetumpka but all across the state of Alabama and the southeast, and has really affected the technology here. So we'll give you a game in the good old-fashioned way. We'll keep it here and take a few breaks and let you see what's going on in the stadium. We'll give you a few reads during those breaks of our sponsors to make sure that you know who our sponsors are each and every week. But we're getting ready for the coin toss, and this is what we, all the pregame festivities are done. The fans are still filing in. I mean, they'll continue to file in until halftime, and you'll have Wetumpka here on the near side again. Gray tops, black pants, gold numbers. Prattville will be wearing their white with the red numbers and the red pants with the red helmet with the lion on top of it. So, this is what everybody's here for, and it starts right here with the coin toss.
Indians and Lions. Interesting matchup. Goes back to the good old days. But fast start for Wetumpka, as we've already talked about. Coin toss coming up here. Look for them if they win it to just go ahead and receive and get taekwondo's out there on the football field, and that'll probably benefit either way on both teams. As if Prattville wins the coin toss, they'll probably want to get their strong defense out on the field first. I've always been a big believer, if you win the coin toss, you want to be on defense first. That way you can make halftime adjustments for your offense coming into the third quarter.
These are two schools we said in the pregame that are synonymous with the Alabama High School Athletic Association playoffs and state championship games. Prattville dominated 6A for many years with Bill Clark and Jamie Dubose. They went on a little bit of a lull there for about 2 or 3 years, and now Caleb Ross is trying to build the program back and has them headed in the right direction. They come in here 3-1, 2 shutouts to their credit. The only losses to the top dog in 7A, Central Phoenix City. And then Wetumpka, of course, has played in the state championship game recently 2 years ago. They made the state semifinals last year. But both of these teams send guys to the next level every single year. And some of the names you may remember are, you got Cameron Pedway that played at Auburn. He's from Prattville. You've got Kavasi Smoke, who's in the backfield now at Kentucky. He played at Wetumpka. Bubba Adams stayed local and went to Alabama State. He's probably one of the best linebackers in school history. But these teams put out collegiate players year in and year out, and you expect to see some of that ability on the field tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned Prattville's only loss to the Central Phoenix Red Devils. Mouthful there. But that loss was interesting to watch. As you watched Prattville play, they shot themselves in the foot with boneheaded mistakes that are easily fixable. And I think if you go back and look at that game, and I think if Coach Ross says, hey, if we can play that game again, they're going to win. I mean, Kramer just didn't have a best game of his life. He put the ball in the air in double coverage. The ball was put on the ground a few times. Defense didn't play great. Like you said, they've had 2 shutouts already, but the defense gave up 45 points against the Red Devils. And I think that's going to haunt them the rest of this season as they go through their region. They got Lee next after this, another big region game, but they get it at home. But this is a team that is competing at the top of their division, but just a tough loss there to Central. And I think that's going to be on their mind as they got to basically run the table with how powerful that Region 2 is.
2 head coaches for Wetumpka. Tim Perry has done a phenomenal job here in Wetumpka since he took over the helm, has really turned him into a power. In 6A, Caleb Ross has Prattville headed back in the right direction. As we said, he was at McGill-Tulane, so he has big game experience as well. Wetumpka wins the toss. They elected to first, so Prattville will receive, and we'll see which way that Wetumpka will kick to start the game. So Wetumpka wants to put their defense on the field against this vaunted Prattville offense and see what they can do first possession. So Wetumpka will kick off. And if you're watching, they'll be kicking off right to the left. Again, Wetumpka in the gray tops, black bottoms, gold numbers, black helmets with the Indian logo on the side. Prattville, white top, red numbers, red pants, red helmet with the Prattville Lion logo on each side of the helmet. And we're about ready to go, less than a minute before kickoff. Here on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week, brought to you by the Montgomery Sports Network. We want to thank our pregame sponsor, Mission Fitness and Performance, Parisi Speed School of Montgomery. They will also be your first down sponsor throughout the night, so you'll hear their name probably called quite a bit because these two teams can score and score in a hurry as both teams now come out on the field. And Joseph, all the pregame talk's over. The kickoff's about to happen here at Holenberg Field.
Came here for what we're looking for, and that's the football. So, like you said, pregame over. We're ready to play some football. Wetumpka is going to be out on defense first, and Kyle Kramer and that Prattville offense looking to score first as they're going to get the football first.
The biggest key to tonight, the biggest question I have is what's faster, Prattville, Wetumpka, or the Wetumpka helmet crew, because they've got to get the helmet off the field so we can start the game because that thing's all the way out into the end zone. So we'll see how quickly they deflate that thing and get this game going. As it's 7 o'clock on the dot, we should be kicking off here any minute.
Good observation there, how they're going to get that down. It looks like they're doing a pretty good job at it right now. They're just going to roll it off the field. Wonder what you go to get one of those things like that.
43 seconds.
43 seconds to get that off the field.
43 seconds from the time the team ran out to the time they got it deflated and pushed off. Wetumpka will kick off. They'll kick off right to left. Back deep for Prattville. Alterius Bates will be on the far side. Kendrick Rogers will be nearest to us.
Two big receivers back there.
Zach Grindle to kick off for Wetumpka. He's got it teed up, and here we go. Wetumpka Prattville from Holenberg Field. Grindle will kick this ball. It'll bounce at about the 12. We've got a whistle and a stoppage already. And there's a flag on the far side. Was looking for a flag. It's on the Prattville side. It'll be a false start against Wetumpka, so Wetumpka a little fast to try to start, getting the jitters out, and it takes a little while in a rivalry game like this for these teams to work things out.
Trying to get down the field too early. Wasn't the best kickoff in the world, but probably look for a little better one here. I don't know if they're just trying to pooch it or trying to go deep on that one. It was a little bit of in between.
So now both deep men will step up to about the 15. They were standing at the 5. So they've already seen one kickoff, and they'll backpedal a little bit to the 12. And there's already talking going on between the two teams. As the sideline is talking to the two deep men, and it's all in good fun right now. The game hasn't really started. Here's Grindle's kick. He'll line it up again. Again, that's Bates on the far side, Rogers on the near side. It'll be Rogers from about the 6. He's got a lane up the middle. He hits it, makes the first man miss, the second man miss, and he'll be run out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. So Rogers very quickly out of the gate for Prattville, got an alley, and you could see the speed of those Prattville players.
And he hit that hole fast and hard and broke a few tackles on his way to a decent return. Great field position for Prattville, and Wetumpka really lost containment on that left side.
So here's Prattville. They'll come off the sideline, no huddle, typical spread offense, as you said, to start things off. Kyle Kramer will be your quarterback for Prattville. 4 receiver set. He'll turn. He'll hand the football off, and a flag comes out immediately in the vicinity of holding.
Trying to get Kidd the football on the perimeter, but that is hard. You know, you got to run behind your blockers, not in front of them. That causes a lot of holding penalties. And referees are having a field day out this year throwing holding penalties.
How about Kramer, 6'3", 215 as your spread quarterback?
Man, and he can move on the perimeter when given the opportunity.
He's got a few big receivers with some speed on the edge. He's also got his tight end, Taylor Thompson, in the game. Thompson sets up as an H-back as they crowd the line of scrimmage. Here's Kramer, back to pass. The rush comes. He's able to avoid it. And here's his running ability. And he doesn't get down, which is surprising as a quarterback, and he'll be tackled after a big gain up to about the 48, 49-yard line of Wetumpka. We'll see where they spot it. They'll spot it at the 49. So an 8-yard gain for Kramer as he avoided the first tackler in the backfield.
How about Kramer showing the wheels on that one? Hit him with the spin move, and that defender went flying. Not something you might think about for a 6'3" quarterback.
Here's Kramer. 3 receivers. He'll go 2 to his right, which is the far side. Here's the handoff. Left side for Prattville. Into that second level first down Lions. Easy pickup. An easy first down pickup.
Another flag. Third one of this game already.
And again, another holding penalty. So the first holding penalty, they had him stop for a no gain. This one picks up double digit in yards, about 11, and it's going to be called back again.
Seems like every other play there's going to be a holding penalty called throughout high school football this year. It's crazy to think that there could be that many holding penalties, but I mean, a referee could call a holding on almost every single play, and it seems like they've decided they're going to do it this year.
3 receivers set again for Kramer. 2 to his left, which is the near side, which is the Prattville sideline. He'll bark the signal. He'll look to the sideline to get the call from Caleb Ross, the head coach of Prattville. Kidd in the backfield with Kramer. They've gone to him twice, but both of his carries have been called back for holding. Kramer looks left the entire time. He'll lob it out to Kidd. Wouldn't have got anything anyway as the defender from Wetumpka was right there beside him. So it'll be a third down for Prattville.
See, if Kramer's going to be a pocket passer, he's got to go through all his reads before he goes down to the check down. I'd like to see him hold the ball a little longer. He had Taylor Thompson, his big tight end, coming open over the middle with the one free safety down there. He was running a little skinny post, and he had him open.
Kenneth Cole for Wetumpka has been busy. He was the man that got in the backfield and forced Kramer to run and actually made the play on that one. Here's Kramer, drops back to pass. He's going to go deep down the right sideline, has a receiver there. Prattville wants a flag, could have been a flag. Pass was intended for Alexander Londell. Excuse me, that's Alexander Londell, plays for Wetumpka. Pardon me. Isaiah Causey from Prattville was the man that was there. For Wetumpka defensively, draped on his back was Avery Thomas, the safety. They got the safety matchup they wanted with the receiver. But it brings up fourth down for Prattville, and they'll have to punt from their own 43-yard line. How about this shift? They'll widen the gaps. They'll send 2 of the receivers out wide. They'll still punt the football, however. Ball straight up in the air. Fair catch called for. It's going to hit at the 25, take a Wetumpka bounce out of bounds. And they'll rule it dead at the 25, where Wetumpka takes over 1st and 10 on their first series of the game. And here's your man you talked about pregame. You talked about Jaden Kidd for Prattville. They fed it to him twice in 3 plays, tried to go to him with passing play. And now here's Taekwon Rawls for Wetumpka.
And going back to Kidd, he had a lot of space on the outside on one of his runs. Both of them called back for holding. So Prattville shooting themselves in the foot with penalties and what looked to be like a decent drive.
Here's Wetumpka. They'll go 3 wide to start. Just like Prattville, they'll bark the signal, then they'll turn to the sideline and look for the play. Rawls in the backfield at quarterback. In the backfield with him is Terrence Thomas, his running back. He'll hand it to Thomas on the read. Thomas up the middle, makes the first man miss. See where he gets this, and they will spot him for a first down at the 36, an 11-yard pickup on the first play from scrimmage for Wetumpka.
Terrence Thomas is going to have a field day between the tackles with that Wetumpka offensive line opening up a lot of holes. Terrence Thomas is going to go right between those big defensive tackles, and that's what he's been doing all year. And Rawls will try and get to the edge for the most part of this game. But Terrence Thomas, he's a physical threat right up the middle. He's a little slender, but can run the gaps.
Here's a toss out to Thomas. He may get a yard out of this. And how about that formation? That's the same formation we saw from Prattville, where they put the tight end in as an H-back and jumbled up that offensive line on the right side. They pick up a yard. On Prattville's possession, Joseph, they try to throw the ball out of that formation.
Yeah, and Prattville might have been looking, hey, they're about to throw the ball. This is our formation. We see this every day in practice. But Wetumpka comes out here and fools them with the run, but I guess they can't really fool them. I think I only got a yard.
Wetumpka will go 4 wide, make it 5 wide now as they go empty. 2 receivers to the right of Rawls, 3 to the left. Jet sweep, and they read it. Thomas will take it. Can't get around the edge, however. A big tackle right there for Prattville. Wade Wright. Actually, Winter White if you look at their roster, but we'll go Wade Wright. It'll be 3rd and about 3 now for Wetumpka from their 43-yard line with 8:25 to play here in the opening quarter.
So the whole offense has been Terrence Thomas so far, up the middle to the perimeter, and now on the read option on the perimeter. And it's so far working, spreading that Prattville defense out and forcing one-on-one matchups.
3 wide, Rawls will keep. He'll get hit in the backfield, gets hit again, stays on his feet. And how about Taekwon Rawls? He was stopped for a 2-yard loss, ends up picking up 2 past the marker for a first down for Wetumpka.
Taekwon Rawls, I thought he should have handed there to Thomas, but he kept, and it looked initially like a bad decision, but broke a few tackles and got the first down.
Big time run for Taekwon Rawls right there. It was supposed to be 4th and about 4. He was hit in the backfield. He ended up picking up 5 on the play. It'll be 1st and 10 Wetumpka from their own 47. Make it to 48. And they'll go 3 wide again. Let's see if they put the ball in the air. If they keep it on the ground, they'll keep it on the ground to Thomas. He's trying to read his blocker. There's a flag in the middle of all of that pile, and Thomas is stopped anyway for no gain. You already know what this call is going to be. It's going to be holding, as it was all Wetumpka in the middle. It will be holding against the Indians, so now becomes a 1st and 20.
And that's really a drive killer right there. When you get big holding calls on the first play of 1st and 10, you really just lose momentum, and that might just force them to put the ball in the air right here on this 1st and 20 with Rawls. So far it's been all on the ground.
1st and 20, Wetumpka from their own 38-yard line.
It'll be 1st and 20.
7:25 to go here in the opening quarter. Clock running from Holenberg Field. Travis Strom, Joseph Sims alongside with you here on the Montgomery Sports Network, the Extermitech Pest Control Game of the Week. Here's Rawls. He looks to pass, has plenty of time. Now he's dancing around and somehow avoids a sack. I think he may pick up about a yard or 2. Let's see what they give him. They'll actually give him a yard on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 19. Rawls had plenty of time. The pocket finally collapsed. He had nowhere to go once that pocket did collapse and just had to eat it.
Rawls has got to be careful when he's dancing around in the pocket like that. He got hit from behind, and he only had one hand on the football, and that usually is a recipe for turnover. So if he's going to dance around in the pocket, you got to have 2 hands on the football. Might want to escape the pocket a little earlier next time.
These two teams run spread, but they're not a hurry-up spread. They're both very relaxed, very disciplined as Rawls will step back. Again, pressure coming. He'll get out of the pocket. He'll throw this one away out of bounds. So it brings up 3rd and 19, and I think I do see a flag.
It should indeed be one. Yes, there is out there a flag for intentional grounding. I don't think that ball got past the line of scrimmage. Referee was standing right there, and it went right to his right, so that should be intentional grounding, spot foul.
They will call it intentional grounding. The Wetumpka coaches are pointing towards the kid for Wetumpka that caught the football, who's actually standing about half a yard behind that line of scrimmage as he hit one of his teammates on the sideline out of bounds. So it'll be a loss of down as well. So it would have been third down anyway. Now it's third and forever for Wetumpka, as if the ball will be spotted back at the 30. They've got to get to Prattville's 42. So it'll be third and 28. Now they're going to keep moving it back. Actually, they'll move it back to the 22. So I'll let the scoreboard do the work for me on that, so I don't have to try to add that one together, because that's
also a loss of down.
More than 19 yards. They've got it at 19 yards. It's third and forever from Wetumpka's 22. They got to get to Prattville's 42. So that's 36 yards they've got to pick up on this play, and they'll put it in the air on a wide receiver screen. Looks for a block. He gets the block. Can't get around the edge, however. If he got past the last tackler, he might have had a chance to pick up the first down for Prattville. That was Andre Gary saving a play for Prattville, as Wetumpka will get it to the 45-yard line. It brings up fourth and about 13.
Rawls, good decision to throw there on the RPO to Brandon Bowman, but Prattville playing basically a little three-man deep, and that third and forever, just come up and make the tackle, and they do, so force the fourth down.
Here's the punt by Grundle. Low liner, it'll bounce at the 30. And Rogers will pick it up, much like he did the kickoff, and try to make a play. Can't make it, however. Picks up a couple. It'll be first down Prattville. See where they mark him. They'll mark him at the 31. So while we've got this timeout, we'd like to thank a couple of our sponsors. Extermatech Pest Control, locally owned and operated. Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team voted best in Montgomery. If you have bugs bugging you, call Extermatech. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Call 334-209-4590. Attorney Matt Matthews of ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com. Workers' compensation attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating workers' compensation cases in Alabama. If you're hurt on the job, he can help you keep the benefits you deserve. Visit ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com or call 334-721-4878. Our pregame sponsor and first down sponsor, Mission Fitness and Performance Parisi Speed School in Montgomery. Athletes and coaching staff, if you want your team to train with the best sports performance program in the area, talk to Mission Fitness and Performance, home of the only Parisi Speed School in Alabama. Find out why Parisi Speed School has been the industry leader in sports performance training for 27 years. Located right here in the River region. Call Mission Fitness and Performance, 334-318-3639. Visit missionfitness.com. We'll get to the remainder of our sponsors on the next time out. But, Joseph, we've gone through one series each, 5:58 to play here in the opening quarter. Neither one of these teams have really gotten anything going offensively. No first downs today.
And Wetumpka, they stayed on the ground for the most part. So I had that one pass play on the very end of their drive. But a little interesting call there to stay on the ground.
Kramer able to pull that snap down as it was over his head. A jet sweep, still on his feet. Running out of bounds on the far side is Altarius Bates. He's the man who was back deep with Rogers on that opening kickoff. He picks up about 8. It'll be 2nd and 2 for Prattville from their 40-yard line, and now they're going to go hurry up at the line. Let's see if Caleb Ross picks up something and changes the play for Prattville.
Man-on-man across the board.
Here's Kramer, another quick pass. Rogers able to scoop that one up, spins around, and because he was spun around, he'll pick up the first down for Prattville, a Parisi Speed School first down for the Prattville Lions. It'll be 1st and 10 Prattville from their own 42 with 5:40 to play here in the opening quarter.
Kyle Kramer throws a beautiful deep ball there in prime position. This is usually where teams want to go deep on first down in this field position.
2 receivers to Kramer's left, the wide side of the field. He'll turn and hand off, and that's not who we thought it was. That won't be Kidd in the backfield as they brought their backup running back in on the play for the Lions. He picks up about 12. That's Keandre Powell for Prattville. He's listed as a linebacker. Comes in and picks up 11 yards for another Parisi Speed School first down for the Lions, and they're in Wetumpka territory at the 47. Another handoff to Powell. Around left end. Drags a couple tacklers with him and picks up positive yardage, about 5 yards on the gain, and brings up 2nd and 5.
Wetumpka playing a defense with 2 free safeties in the back, basically saying we're going to take away that deep threat from Kyle Kramer, and they're just taking advantage of it in the trenches with only man-on-man across in the trenches. 4 linemen, 5 offensive linemen, and it's working for Prattville right now.
4 wide for Kramer, 2 to each side. He'll go left. That ball's picked off. This could be a touchdown if he can beat Kramer to the corner. Kramer saves a touchdown for Wetumpka. That pass was intended for Kendrick Rogers. We'll get a number for you. It was intercepted by Hezekiah Nowden. Just stepped right in front of that and just took off with the football, and Kramer saves a touchdown.
Kyle Kramer I just don't know what he saw right there. It was a screen, an RPO for him, and he decided to keep and throw the screen, and Nowden just took advantage of it. He's been around the football on those screens the past 2 times they've run it, and he finally stepped in front of one of them, almost took it to the house before Kramer took him down.
So here's the first test for this Prattville defense. We talked in the pregame. You hit on it about Wetumpka and their big playability, and now they've got a big play to set them up 1st and 10 in the red zone. They'll have it at the 15-yard line of Prattville. Here's Rawls. Looks to pass, nowhere to go. Tucks it, he'll run. He'll pick up positive yardage. He'll pick up maybe 3. We'll see where they mark it. The ball is actually spotted at the 16, not the 15. So they'll give him the 13. It'll be a pickup of 3, 2nd and 7 as we go under 4.5 to play in the opening quarter.
Rawls' helmet came off, and I think by rule he has to come out for 1 play. But that was an interesting play call here inside the red zone after a turnover. You run the ball basically all of your first drive in 1 pass, but you get inside the red zone and you decide to pass the football?
So we'll see. This is going to be Rawlinson in at quarterback. They try to run a quarterback draw, and he just falls backwards. I think that the moment may have got him as he got outside to the left side, and there were 4 Prattville defenders standing there waiting on him, and he just hit the deck.
Yeah, there's nowhere to run. The defense strung it out nicely, and no gaps. Couldn't get outside, but Rawls is able to come back in here for this 3rd down.
They're going to call a timeout. Rawls is not ready.
Timeout.
I don't know where Rawls is, but he's not out on the field as they take a timeout. While we have this timeout with 3:49 to play, we'll go over some more of our sponsors for you. The Hank Williams Museum, the 6,000 square foot museum, is located at 118 Commerce Street. You can take a step back in time and learn about the musical history and life of a Montgomery man who is known as a legendary singer-songwriter, Hank Williams. Browse a large gift shop. Groups are always welcome. Chris's Hot Dogs. Chris is celebrating 102 years in business in the capital city. Located just steps from the state capitol at 138 Dexter Avenue, Chris caters. Have Chris's Hot Dogs at your next meeting or event. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Taste for tradition. Call orders in advance, 334-265-6850. And Mac the Camera Guy. Sponsors, get him for all your corporate events, parties, wedding, proms, the life of the party, Mac the Camera Guy. And the next time out we get is all yours, Joseph, as you get the next 3.
All right.
So we'll let you have the next break to yourself. Maybe it'll come in the 2nd quarter at some point as we're now set up 3rd and 13. For Wetumpka, and Rawls is back in. That's why they burned the timeout, because Rawls wasn't ready. Rawls rolls right. He's going to look into the end zone. This ball will be thrown out of the back of the end zone. His receiver had no chance to catch the football.
Trey Thompson, great coverage.
So here's the key. Here's the question we've got. We've seen Grindle kick off. We've seen him punt. We've seen both of them be low liners. He's going to come out now and try to kick a field goal, and we're so we see where he puts the tee down. They don't have a holder yet. Now they do. As Grindle will put it down at the 26. This will be a 36-yard attempt for Zachary Grindle.
Let's see what the young kid's got.
3:30 remaining here, opening quarter, scoreless game. And there's motion on the Wetumpka line.
So, poor guy's going to have to go back a little bit before he gets the first try to put some points on the board for Wetumpka.
And Tim Perry has some confidence in him. He's not going to pull the field goal unit off. He's got Grindle spotting it now at the 31. So this will be a 41-yard attempt for Zach Grindle.
Well, in warm-ups, he was kicking around the 35. Not all of them went in, and not all of them had the distance, but he had the leg for most of them.
The snap is low. The hold gets down. This kick's blocked. And Prattville tries to pick it up. They try to pick it up and scoop and score, but they can't do it. As the holder for Wetumpka did a good job and recovered the football, but he dove, and because he dove, he was able to keep Prattville from taking the football and taking off on a scoop and score. But Prattville will take over 1st and 10 on the blocked field goal from the 39.
So they really, the holder was holding it laces forward for the kicker, so I don't think it would have gone in at that point. I'm not a kicker, and I haven't talked to many kickers, but apparently that's a big thing, is when the laces are forward, you just miss it.
And everything was good except the snap. The snap was low, and because of that, the holder had to get it, which gave Prattville a chance to get it from the edge. Here's Kramer. 3 receivers set. He'll hand it off to Kidd. Around right in. He's brought down after a short gain, but it'll be all for naught as there's another holding call as an offensive lineman gets matched up with a defensive back and holds again.
That's going to be the 4th holding call already for Prattville. That's just not good, and Jalen Kidd's having a little bit of room on the outside. I don't know if it's just because of the holding. I don't think it could all be for that, but he would be having a decent game at this point if his offensive line would help him out a little bit.
Every time he's touched the football to run, there's been a holding penalty. The only time they tried to give it to him in the air, he would have been brought down for no gain, and he wisely let the ball go off his hands out of bounds. 1st and 20, Kramer again to Kidd. Goes up the middle, picks up about 4 on the play, no flag, so the first official carry for Kidd. But again, we go back to the beginning of the game and pregame. You talked about getting Kidd going. They've tried to get him going, had holding penalties, which has put Kramer in passing situations. So we'll see what they do here. 2nd and 17. Wetumpka jumps.
Kramer going to the hard count in the shotgun, and he gets Wetumpka to jump.
And a quick substitution on that defensive line for Wetumpka.
Brings up 2nd and 12.
Brenton Studemeyer comes off the field after he jumped across the line on the encroachment penalty.
2.5 to play here in the opening quarter. Scoreless football game. Prattville Wetumpka from Holenberg Field in downtown Wetumpka. Kramer looks left the entire way, eyeing his receivers down, and again throws it out of bounds. And Joseph, I don't know if you've seen this, but every time Kramer goes back to pass, he locks in. He doesn't go through any progressions.
He looks at one receiver and stares directly at him, and when you're Wetumpka and you're playing man, you don't look at the quarterback, and they've kind of changed it a little bit. They started off in man, now they're in zone, and they're looking right at the quarterback, and when you follow the quarterback's eyes and he's staring down one receiver, it makes it easy to be a DB out there.
Here's Kramer again under center, a bunch formation at the line of scrimmage. He'll drop back to pass, looks left, eyes that receiver again. And again, Wetumpka tried to make a play on the football. It was intended out there for Rogers.
Kendrick Rogers had a DB jump right in front of him, but the pass hit his hands, and he probably should have came down with that football. Good throw from Kyle Kramer, and he might have had enough for the first down.
Brings up another punting situation for Prattville. 4th and 12 from their own 37.
So in pregame, we talked about a lot of offense and how both of these teams are really good at offense and big plays and scoring the football. 0-0 so far in the first quarter.
Vinio Davis back deep for Wetumpka. He'll have his heels on the 28. Here's the punt from the Lions. High hanging punt. Davis will call for the fair catch. Makes it at the 25. Makes sure he has it. Falls down to both knees with 1:49 to play here in the opening quarter. Wetumpka takes over 1st and 10 from their own 25. This will be their 3rd possession. And we talked about in the pregame about the big play. Wetumpka had the first big play of the game with the interception return. Kramer saved a touchdown, which was a big play for Prattville, because then Wetumpka went 3 and out and had the field goal blocked, so they didn't get any points on the board.
I want to see Rawls get going on the ground here. You know, he hasn't put the ball in the air much, but not a lot of running room for them either.
How about this formation as they get Prattville to jump? You had 2 offensive linemen set up as the 2 tackles were outside with the 2 receivers. You had one to Rawls' left, one to his right, and you had the 2 receivers behind both of them. And Prattville jumps off sides. Let's see if Wetumpka goes back to that formation. They'll stay in it. They'll put the 2 tackles again out wide by the numbers with the 2 receivers. They're ineligible. They're not eligible receivers.
Yep.
It just opens up the outside, and they quickly go that way. And I don't think that pass from Rawls was meant to go backwards, as Minifield makes the play but only picks up about 2. So that was designed to be a quick pass to get a tackle outside, and they just didn't get the blocking.
Initially, when Rawls threw it backwards, I thought immediately double pass to the outside. But like you said, I don't think it was meant to go backwards. And I think that play was doomed from the get-go. I mean, when you got offensive linemen on the perimeter, it pretty much says quick screen. So defense doesn't have to read much there, and it doesn't gain anything either.
Prattville did a good job reading that last play, had a linebacker or a DB or actually the corner and the safety out. They'll go one man and deep, and they'll run a jet sweep. No, Rawls will keep it up the middle. He may have lost the football.
I think he did, and I think the Prattville Lions have it.
And now Prattville gets a big play as Rawls fumbled that football. Ball is going to be recovered by number 1 of the Lions. He comes out of the pile with it, and that's Mason Taylor, the linebacker.
Mason Taylor is the Mike linebacker. He gets the guys down and lined up every single play, and he forced the fumble, and I think he recovered that fumble with ease as Rawls is just out there waving the football around, hasn't had much ball security even when he's inside the pocket.
And you hinted at that the last possession when he was in deep in their own territory about waving it around. It caught up to him. That time he was actually in the pocket when you brought it up last time. Here's Kramer. Under a minute to play opening quarter. Prattville will take this ball around the left edge. That's a good open field tackle out on that edge by Wetumpka, but not before. Prattville picks up about 5 on the play, brings up 2nd and 5 from the 29.
On the first drive of the game for Prattville, they went deep, and Kramer had a receiver there and didn't connect. Since then, Wetumpka's had 2 safeties back, forcing every throw to be underneath, and running lanes are opening up.
Could be the last play of the quarter. Here's Kramer. And it won't be, as Kramer off the hands again of his intended receiver. And that's Altenius Bates, and he'll go to the sideline. Maybe he took a hard hit, and I think it may have caught his hand because he immediately grabbed his left hand after the hit. But nonetheless, it'll be 3rd and 5 for Prattville.
That's 2 big drops from 2 different receivers on this Prattville offense already in this game. Kramer's got to have some help from his receivers. He's delivering good footballs.
Kramer again will hand the football off straight up the middle this time. Dragging a couple tacklers inside the red zone down to the 11, maybe the 12.
Those running lanes opened up the center, gave a big pancake block on number 25, Brentinier Studermeyer, and he fell down, and Powell just followed that center all the way up to the 2nd level and dragged a few defenders. Good run there.
Keandre Powell is listed at number 20 for Prattville, listed as a linebacker. He's got the bulk of the carries right now. He'll get another one. He'll go around the left side. He'll be no, he won't be wrestled down. He'll pick up some positive yardage, and that'll be the end of the first quarter. Prattville 0, Wetumpka 0, end of 1 from Holenberg Field. We'll be back after this timeout. You're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590. La Zona Rosa Hillwood Mexican Cafe, located on Zelda Road, minutes from downtown Montgomery, is one of the area's finest Mexican restaurants. From our great lunch selection and value to our tablecloth and candle evening atmosphere for dinner, La Zona Rosa has something to offer all connoisseurs of fine Mexican dining. Come on down today and enjoy some great Mexican. La Zona Rosa Hillwood Mexican Cafe on Zelda Road, minutes from downtown.
Welcome back to the home of the Indians, where our score is 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. We'd like to thank our sponsors of this game, Midstate Burglar Bars and Ironworks. Midstate Burglar Bars and Ironworks is a locally owned and operated business. They have been in business since 1985 and serve Montgomery and the surrounding counties. Midstate builds and installs burglar bars, AC guards, hand railings, fencing, storm doors, and more. Make sure to check out the decorative handrails, a true work of art. Call Midstate 334-313-9015. La Zona Rosa Mexican Cafe, located at 2838 Zelda Road, minutes from downtown Montgomery, is one of the area's finest Mexican restaurants. Checked out their great build-your-own lunch and dinner selections and updated menus. Make La Zona Rosa your choice for authentic Tex-Mex and Salvadorian cuisines. Open Monday through Saturday. Call 334-274-1153.
Travis Jerome, Joseph Sims alongside with you here at Holenberg Field in Wetumpka, Alabama. As again, the handoff up the middle, and Prattville will be the first team on the board as they get a score with 11:53 remaining here in the half. Ball right up the gut that time. And you talked about getting one guy going offensively. They've gotten the second guy going in out that backfield for Prattville.
Man, why would you not hand it to Keandre Powell's when Jalen Kidd, every time he touches the football, the offensive line holds for him. So Powell's got the hot hand, so you're going to hand it to him. And it looks like they might be going for two here.
They'll bring them back in. They've gone now to the old high school format of they'll either start wide or go wide and bring the lineman back in. Here's the extra point attempt for Prattville. Kick is up. Kick is good, and it's 7-0 Prattville. And we failed to mention right before the break as Prattville picked up that first down on the final play of the quarter. That was a Parisi Speed School first down of the game for Prattville. But it's 7-0 Prattville, 11:53 to play in the first half. Big play for Wetumpka, unable to get points on the blocked field goal. Big play by Prattville's defense. They recover a fumble. They punch the football in.
So both offensive have one turnover. It seemed Wetumpka was set up a lot better after their pick and return, but Kyle Kramer shut that down pretty quickly down at the 10. But Prattville takes advantage of their turnover, puts points on the board for the first score of the game, and it was all Keandre Powell's on that drive.
Make sure you follow us on social media. You can watch the game. You can follow us on Facebook. At MyMGM Sports. If you want to watch the bands at halftime, you can always interact with us and tell us you want to watch the bands on Facebook. We'd be glad to let you watch, and that way me and Joseph can disappear and you can have a good old-fashioned halftime show. Prattville to kick off. Wetumpka has three back deep. This ball will carry to about the 2. And as Thomas spins out of one tackle and actually gets some positive yardage, breaks free at the 40. The 45 knocked out of bounds as he crosses the 50. And holy cow, Terrence Thomas was bottled up by Wetumpka by Prattville that time. Spun out of it and got away. I don't know how. I'm still trying to figure out how that just happened.
Terrence Thomas might just have committed the all-time worst things you can do as a returnman. He outran his own blocks. He had a convoy right behind him. If he maybe would just sort of slowed down just a step or two, that convoy could have got out in front of him and blocked for him.
I think that convoy got held up in the mass down here at about the 15, as there were about 19 players down here all bottled up, including Thomas. The only man that could catch him was the kicker. He forced him wide to the sideline for the tackle. Here's that formation again by Wetumpka. Rawls will take it left, and he squares the ball up this time, holds it tight to his body. He's still fighting, still is yet to go down. He gets pulled down from behind by a defensive lineman. Otherwise, he's probably still standing.
I've never seen a quarterback run right behind 3 down linemen and then get positive yardage for it.
Got a man down for Wetumpka, and that could be because of that foul, but Rawls pretty much did that on his own as Prattville had Wetumpka outnumbered at the line. They had 5 defensive linemen, or 5 defensive players to just 3 offense. Joseph, if you want to finish up those sponsors, we'll go ahead and wrap up the sponsors here in the first half.
All right, we'd like to thank Delta Printing and Sign Company. Delta Printing and Sign Company opened in 1979 and is still locally owned and family owned. As a second-generation business, they have stayed true to their roots. They get to know their customers and take pride in helping meet their printing needs and stay within their budget. Their goal is the same now as it is always when they opened up to provide a quality product at a competitive price, accompanied with exceptional customer service. So remember, no matter what it is, when you need signs, printing, direct mail, let Delta do it. Call 334-271-COPY. And our media partner, the station of Blue Water Broadcasting, News Talk 93.1, KISS FM 97.9, JMZ, Bama Country 98.9, Yo 100.5, Classic Country, The Possum 104.9, The Gump, and 107.1, The Vault. And they're local folks helping local businesses. Call them today and let them help your business. 334-244-0961.
2nd and 7 for Wetumpka here on their home field, Holenberg Field in downtown Wetumpka. Here's Rawls, option right. He'll be hit and goes down after a minimal gain.
Rawls has got to toss there to Terrence Thomas. He has the speed to get on the edge and get some positive yardage. Rawls putting his body on the line there. Unnecessary hit as a quarterback. You got to watch that.
Again, for those of you at home just joining us, the heat has wreaked havoc on technology. We won't have any graphics, any commercial breaks for you. We'll stay here the entire time. Also, like to give our well wishes to Kane Young. We know he's watching and listening tonight for a speedy recovery, a little under the weather this week. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say welcome to Joseph Sims. This is his second broadcast with us. And he is the same age, if not younger, than some of these guys on this field, a junior at BTW. Rawls puts the ball in the air, throws it out of bounds. It'll be a 4th down now for Wetumpka.
Intended receiver Jalil Johnson ran over the water girl on the sideline there. Might want to owe her an apology when he gets back on the sideline.
7 seconds ran off the clock. I don't think anybody in the stadium saw it. It was at 10:19 when that ball went out of bounds. It's at 10:12 now. Wetumpka will be forced to punt the football.
So two opposing or contrasting things have been happening on offense for both the quarterbacks. For Kramer, he's delivering good footballs and his receivers are dropping them. For Rawls, he's not delivering good footballs and his receivers don't have a chance to catch it.
And Rawls is actually back deep to punt. This punt was actually almost blocked. And it will bounce into the end zone, and Prattville will take over 1st and 10 with 10:04 to play here in the half, leading 7-0 from Holenberg Field here in Wetumpka. Didn't get a number on that big offensive lineman who was hurt, but we do know he's under the tent right here to our left, right under the press box. That tent was down. As soon as he came off the field, that tent popped up, and he hasn't come out of it since he went in about 4 plays ago. Kramer will be a quarterback for Prattville, and there's our man Kidd in the backfield that we talked about in the pregame. Hasn't got going, and we said that was a big thing for Prattville, but right now they lead by a touchdown without him going. They give it to Kidd. Same play as a touchdown, just a different runner, and he's bluffing with the football. And again, Kramer tries to make a play, won't be able to make it, and that's a touchdown for Wetumpka.
Hezekiah Nowden now has 2 turnover. He has the interception, and now he's got this fumble recovery for a touchdown. He's having one heck of a game in this first half.
As a defensive back, you can't ask for anything else. That ball popped right up into his hands for the easy touchdown. He outran Kramer to the edge and got in as the clock continues to run.
And he's going to get the turnover belt now. Well, I guess he already had it since he had the first turnover in the first quarter, so he gets to keep it, I guess. But he gets the touchdown on this one.
Extra point is up. That ball might have been blocked, and it was tipped at the line, and it hits the crossbar, so Prattville will hang on to the 1-point lead, 7-6.
In the first half, your score.
And so when Prattville gets this ball back, I don't think you go to Kendrick Powell. I think you keep Jalen Kidd in the game, keep his confidence up. He's had a rough game so far. He only has 1 official carry that hasn't been called back for holding, and now the second carry, I guess the official carry, is a fumble and it's returned for a touchdown. So his confidence is a little hurt right now, and he's such a valuable opponent to this offense. You got to get him going. Wetumpka's given him so much respect in the trenches. You might just want to look to maybe attack the perimeter a little more like Wetumpka's gone about attacking this Prattville defense.
You talked about it in the pregame. Prattville had to avoid the big play by Wetumpka. They haven't been able to do it. The first one was an interception. They avoided points as they blocked the field goal. They couldn't do it this time as the same man Nowden struck. He had the pick and was tackled by Kramer at the 15 the first time. This time he picks it up and runs it in on the fumble as the ball just popped right into his hands. 9:48 to play here in the half as the clock stopped after the ball hit the crossbar. As there's a slight breeze now blowing here at Holenberg Field. It's really not a comfortable breeze. It's just blowing hot air around the stadium.
Probably feels good to those players out there running around.
Here's Grindle. Another low line drive kick. It'll be fielded. Not sure how to describe that tackle. Maybe a headlock, a clothesline, but either way, Prattville is down. They'll have it 1st and 10, and there is a flag. We'll see if they call a personal foul on the tackle. That's about where the tackle happened.
Well, I was just about to say it looked kind of like a clean tackle since there was no flag. Flag comes in late. Unsportsmanlike conduct is called.
It's going to be called against Prattville. I think they got up after that play because of the tackle. Let's see. It will be against Prattville, so they were going to have it 1st and 10 at their own 30. And it was after the play, so that's exactly what happened. So after the play, they get up after the hard tackle from Wetumpka. They get up, and it gets marked off 15 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 now from the 15 instead of 1st and 10 from the 30.
Well, there's been some chirping going on all night long between these two teams. Of course, why wouldn't there be? You know, that's your opponent. You want to talk a little smack to them, get into their head a little bit. But I wouldn't doubt that someone saw that tackle on Bates and kind of got into that defender's face a little bit, and he got called for the flag.
We'll take this short timeout during the heat timeout. You're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network. .9:41 to play here in the opening half. 7-6 Prattville leads Wetumpka. The Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network. Travis Rome, Joseph Sims alongside with you at Holenberg Field. If you got friends at home, make sure you tell them you can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on the net at MyMGM Sports. And just what you thought was going to happen didn't happen. They took Kidd out of the game. And a short game for Prattville.
Guess you can't argue with that. Feed the hot hand. But, I mean, Kidd still is their star running back, their starting running back, so they're going to have to get him going in this game eventually. Powell can't carry the whole load.
A lot of football left, only 9:20 remaining in the first half.
Man, oh, man, across the board, you might be looking for slants or a deep shot here.
Here's Kramer. Again, eyes his receivers down and another drop.
Second drop for Rogers there on the slant pass. Little low throw from Kramer, but a catchable ball from Rogers, and he had room in front of him to run.
Third and 9 for Prattville. 9:05 to play here in the opening half. As we told you, get your friends to watch us. You can watch us on the web or you watch us on YouTube. If you got any friends in Elmore County, they're probably here at the game as this parking lot and these stands are full on both sides. If you're near Wetumpka, you still got time to come and get you a ticket and come in and watch. Probably the best game around the state right now as far as two teams tonight. Here's Kramer. Pressure coming, steps up in the pocket. Still dancing around in the pocket. He's going to have to tuck it under. He does, and he'll be brought down. That'll be a sack on the play as a pair of Wetumpka defenders were able to get in.
So I mentioned earlier that Kyle Kramer's got to look at all his reads and go to each and every one, 2, 3, and 4 before hitting the check down. That time he hit all his reads and then didn't hit the check down. probably the smart decision there to go ahead and drop it down to Rogers. But, you know, you might be looking at that trust issue as Rogers has 2 drops. Bates has a drop. He might not – I mean, he's been a little reckless with the football so far this season, but maybe a little bit of a confusion or trust issue with his receivers so far.
Clock is sitting still at 8:43. Not sure why it's not running after the sack, but here's the punt by Prattville. High hanging punt. Davis will fair catch it. He'll fair catch it at the Wetumpka 48, so the Indians will take over with good field position with 8:32 remaining here in the opening half. And now the question is, Joseph, can Wetumpka take advantage of a short field after the Prattville offense couldn't get anything going after the unsportsmanlike conduct on the kickoff?
Well, so far, Wetumpka has been unable to take advantage of good field position. They had it inside the red zone. Now they had a big return earlier in the game right at the 50, and now they're right around that 50-yard line yet again. Offense still yet to put points on the board. It's been defense for Wetumpka so far.
Prattville threatening Rawls to throw the football. They load the box. Handoff left side, minimal gain. We'll try to get you a number on that, as we're used to calling Terrence Thomas on all the plays.
Brandon Bowman, the receiver, lined up in the backfield to take that handoff. And like you said, a stacked box usually means throwing the football, but when you do run it and get past that second level, whoever's carrying the football is gone.
Second and a long 7. We'll call it 2nd and 6 from the Prattville 49. Rawls over the head of Bozeman this time. Got a late hit that time. After he let the football go, he was just hanging out and got drilled by a Prattville defender.
That is a defenseless receiver, and that probably should have been called. He went into the air, and when he landed, he is defenseless in that situation, and that was an unnecessary hit from the defender. But again, another drop, and this time it was Brandon Bowman who got that carry on first down. So I don't know if it's the ball or the humidity in the air, but a lot of drops happening out here in this football field.
Here's Rawls. Drops back to pass. Looks right, has his receiver. Let's see if they give him the first down. He'll be about a yard short. It's 4th and 1.
I don't think it matters. I think the offense stays on the field even if it is 4th and 1. They might have to bring out the chains here. Nope. They're going to say first down.
It'll be a first down. Wetumpka Parisi Speed School first down for the Indians, as they didn't even bring the chains across. They just called it a first down. They're going to mark it, really, at the 41 as it's over the 42.
Empty backfield set for the first time.
Got a flag. False start against Wetumpka.
Wetumpka in all has kind of played a clean game on offense as far as penalties go. It's been Prattville plagued with the flag so far, but nonetheless, that sets them up with a situation behind the chains, and that's not where you want to be when you're mainly a running team.
Wetumpka right side, they'll run it. That's Thomas. Be second, and we'll call it 16. They're actually going to mark him another yard loss.
Terrence Thomas is elusive with that football. When he is in a lot of traffic, he usually comes out clean, and he is just very, very elusive when he has the football. We saw him on the kickoff return, and now running the football, just really good with his eyes.
Rawls, a flag down. That ball was almost picked off. It'll be holding, and if you're Prattville, you decline this penalty, and maybe Wetumpka punt the football.
So Wetumpka has been granted great field position yet again, and again have just struggled to move the football. They got one first down and then could not get another. So they're going to be punting yet again in this football game, and their offense is just very stagnant at this point in the game. have yet to put points on the board. It's been all defense, almost 2 defensive touchdowns, and they're going to look for the defense to stop them again on this upcoming drive for the Lions.
They will decline the penalty. Brings up a 4th and 14. It should be a 3rd and 14. Should have been 3rd down on that last play. As the down marker said 3rd, now it still says 3rd, so they'll give them 3rd down. They actually moved the down markers down on the first play on the penalty. Third and long for Wetumpka, 6:24 to play. Opening half, here's Rawls. He'll go over the middle. As his receiver, it'll be interesting to see if they give him the first down. He went to the yard marker, sat down. Let's see where they mark it. We're waiting. Now they'll bring the chains out. The last play, they didn't bring the chains across the field. This time they'll take them to about the right hash.
Well, Jalil Johnson, like you said, settled down in the zone. He was open for a good majority of his route before Rawls finally found him over the middle. And looks like they're going to mark him just short, but he made a strong contested catch.
So let's just say he's short if you're Tim Perry. Go for it on 4th and inches here?
I think you do, and I think it's all Thomas Rawls. I think you run quarterback power all the way. He's been powerful in the running game. Looks like they're going to have enough for the first down.
Asa Parisi Speed School first down for Wetumpka as they get it by just the nose of the football for 1st and 10 at the Prattville 32.
Man, that first down was so close. I thought the referee might bring out a note card to measure it out.
Timeout by the official for safety.
So 6:16 to go in the second quarter, and they'll take the official heat timeout.
So we'll step aside during this heat timeout. You're watching the Extermitech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
If you're injured on the job, the law requires your employer to pay your medical expenses and cover your lost wages for any work-related injury. Employers and their insurers often try to deny workers' compensation claims or limit your benefits. Whether you're totally disabled and cannot work or if you've suffered some impairment, attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating. For more information, go to the website protectingalworkers.com. That's protectingalworkers.com.
Seven 7-6, Prattville leads Wetumpka as they go right up the middle on the first play from the heat timeout, and that's Thomas for Wetumpka, picks up 9. Is this right at the down marker, maybe 9.5. From here, it looks like he got 10, but it'll be 2nd and about 2 inches. Thomas will get it this time, but it'll come back for holding. So Thomas's touchdown is all for naught, as there's a flag sitting down at the 21 in the vicinity of holding.
I know the student section's going to be mad about that. Every time there's a touchdown or turnover, they send out confetti and color bombs, but this one's going to be brought back, and that's a wasted confetti and color bomb situation.
They might have to run to the car and go get an extra one, because that was a wasted confetti bomb, as that flag came out immediately. Thomas hadn't even made his first cut yet when the flag came out. Now the 2 officials have the teams huddled up, and I'm pretty sure that was to kill the chirping that's been going on in that interior line.
I hope the officials huddled them up and told them, listen here, guys, y'all need to quit holding the other team so we can play some football. Ridiculous amount of holding penalties, but rightfully called by the officials, as they are still holding penalties no matter what.
Let's see where they mark this one. It'll be 2nd and 10. We'll have a timeout called by the Prattville defense. We'll step aside for this timeout. You're watching the Extermitech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Extermitech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermitech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermitech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermitech 334-209-4590.
Welcome back to Holenberg Field. Travis Strom, Joseph Sims on the Extermitech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network. Prattville leads Wetumpka 7-6. Wetumpka, however, is threatening 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9 after the holding penalty from the 31. Back to passes. Rawls goes to the end zone, has his man open at the 5. Did he get in? He did. Touchdown, Wetumpka.
Jalil Johnson ran a great route on man coverage. If it's man coverage and you're running a crossing route, you keep going. If it's zone, you sit down. And he saw man and he kept going. Rawls found him right at the 5, and he dove in to get into the end zone. Good play, good execution from the quarterback. Rawls there.
Who needs a band when you've got all these artificial noisemakers on both sides? You got air horns on the Prattville side. You got a bullhorn and some cowbells on the Wetumpka side. This is what high school football is meant to be. And this game's going to be a knockdown drag out. It'll go back and forth. Here's Grendel's extra point attempt. Kick is up. This kick is good. So he puts Wetumpka up by 6, 13-7 with 5:37 remaining in the half. And that's a big boost for the kicking game for Wetumpka, as Grendel had a field goal blocked earlier and missed the extra point on his first attempt.
And the Wetumpka offense has been all run throughout this whole game. Not really doing much throughout the passing game, but they get down near the end zone. They finally are able to run a good play-action pass, and he had multiple receivers open. He had Jalil Johnson open, who he ultimately hit. Then he also had Brandon Bowen running a post route to the left corner of the end zone, who was also open, but Rawls just able to find his open receiver, and he did a really good job. Throwing on the run is something that's hard, but throwing on the run that far downfield, that's even more hard, I guess, if that's more hard. This is why I don't have a good grade in English.
Well, English and football really kind of don't mix. We'll take the math grade and use it at this.
That's a good, solid B.
And so Wetumpka will kick off with 5:37 to play. Here's the kick from Grendel. This ball will be caught at the 8. I thought it was going to hit the ground. This is Rogers. He'll get outside. He'll get tackled. We'll see if a flag comes out, as he looked like he may have been out of bounds. But they won't throw the flag. They'll let play continue. That's actually Bates. Oh, that was Rogers on the return, excuse me. As Rogers and Bates go both back deep on each kickoff. So with 5:26 to play here in the half, Prattville will take over.
Kendrick Rogers made a fingertip catch on that kickoff, yet he has 2 drops in this game, so something's not adding up right there. I think the Prattville coaching staff and Coach Ross would much rather him catch it on the offensive side of the ball than special teams.
Here's Prattville, 1st and 10. Kramer back to pass. Screen set up to his tight end, Thompson. And his tight end gets down the sideline, run out of bounds. Let's see where they put him. They'll put him down at the 25.
How many offensive coordinators have a play call that sets up a screen for a tight end that's 6'3" and 220 pounds? Taylor Thompson moving down the sideline. Great screen pass. Good call.
And I guess that's why they don't set the screen up for a tight end, as they had an ineligible man downfield. Did the Prattville offense. And just like that, a big play for Prattville gets wiped off the board again.
Well, especially for a screen pass, the linemen are going to get called for being ineligible and downfield, more than 5 yards downfield in high school. But it's actually on Taylor Thompson. When he runs that screen, he's got to run behind the line of scrimmage. That way those linemen can get upfield and not be called. So he ran a little bit in front of the line of scrimmage, and that results in ineligible people downfield.
You know, you have to consider where the flag was thrown. However, that offensive lineman was about 8 yards away from the line of scrimmage. I don't think he realized where he was. But nonetheless, that gets wiped off the board. Another big play from Prattville taken away. Here's Kramer. The workhorse tonight for Prattville running the football has not been Jaden Kidd. Has actually been Powell for Prattville. He picks up another 7 or 8 for the Lions on that play. We'll give him 7. It'll be 2nd and 8 on the play now from the 44.
Crowd noise coming into effect here on this 2nd and 8 as Wetumpka side stomping and cowbells. That's got to affect Kramer here in this situation.
4:35 to play opening quarter. The snap hauled in by Kramer. It was over his head. Powell up the middle, nowhere to go. May get 1. That'll actually give him 2 on the play. So it'll be 3rd and a long 6. We'll call it 3rd and 7 for Prattville. We'll call it 3rd and 7. That's a long 6 to have to get for Prattville from their 46-yard line. They've got to get just inside the 47 of Wetumpka. Clock running at 4:02. Kramer double pumps, goes long as receiver cut it off, and they're going to throw a flag.
Alterius Bates was down there, and it looks like there might be a holding call on Wetumpka. They're going to argue that the ball was not catchable.
Well, one, the ball wasn't catchable, and Bates cut his route off.
Now, this is interesting. If it's a holding call, it doesn't matter if the ball is catchable or not. If it's pass interference, then it matters if the ball is catchable or not.
And they're going to call pass interference.
So boos will be heard throughout the Wetumpka crowd, and it's rightfully so. That ball was not catchable, and they're going to call it pass interference. If it were to be holding, then the ball doesn't matter. The ball placement doesn't matter. It's holding no matter what.
Prattville gets a first down on play. Started to cut you off the Parisi Speed School. First down for Prattville. Kramer with a handoff up the middle. This will be the first time we've called this young man's name tonight, as it'll be James Myers.
So Prattville catches a little break there, but I don't think they're going to be complaining about it, so they might have to capitalize here with this field position, 2nd and 8. They've been having success on the ground, tried to go deep a few times, not able to connect.
2nd and 8 for Prattville, 3:15 and counting here in the opening half. Wetumpka leads 13-7. Kramer, shovel pass to Thompson is tight end. Thompson lunges for the first down. He'll be about a yard short. It'll be 3rd and 1. As he had to get to just inside the Wetumpka 30, he'll be spotted down at the Wetumpka 31.
So that was actually the same play initially on the first play of this drive with the screen, but Taylor Thompson run it correctly there and before the line of scrimmage, and it allows for a little shovel pass.
Kramer, 2:35 to play. Powell up the middle. Spins, picks up a Parisi Speed School first down. He'll get inside the 20, close to the 15. They'll mark him down at the 16. And you talk about that shovel pass. You don't see that very often now. You usually see a pop pass on the quick pop pass when you got the jet sweep and they just pop it out. This time it was a true shovel pass as Kramer was about 7 yards back.
Well, they're a little dangerous. You know, a shovel pass, you don't exactly have the accuracy or someone around you. So like you said, they usually go to the pop pass, but they're going to stick with it here.
Here's Kramer. Looks left, has nothing. He scrambles around, dances in the backfield, then gets driven down to the ground after about a 2-yard gain.
Alterius Bates is going to go back to his quarterback, Kramer, and say, you got to hit me earlier on that route. He was in the screen, in the slot, and he was going to hit the slant. The defender was playing about 10 yards off coverage, and he was wide open at the beginning of his route. Eventually covered, but Kramer's got to hit him a little earlier on that RPO.
Kramer will hand to Powell. Powell right side, gets upended after a short gain. That'll bring up 3rd down now from the 21 as well. They'll mark him.
So it looks like they're just going to go with Powell as the lead back for probably the rest of this game, rightfully so. There is an injured player for the Indians defense.
So while we have this injury, we'll step aside for a quick timeout. You're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for 75 years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
1:11 to play in the opening half. Wetumpka leads Prattville 13-7 in a 6A, 7A non-region matchup. Travis Strom, Joseph Sims alongside with you here at Holenberg Field in downtown Wetumpka.
That's going to be Dylan Price walking off the field pretty gingerly. He's able to walk off on his own power, but he plays a pivotal role in that Indians defense. He rushes the passer and also drops back in coverage in their dime look. So that's going to affect their defense and how they play here on this 3rd down.
Another shovel to Thompson, and he gets upended behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose 1. It'll bring up 4th down for Prattville. Clock running, under a minute to play. Prattville has 1 timeout. Wetumpka has all 3, and Prattville will take their final timeout. And Joseph set the scene for us now. 51.4 seconds to play in the opening half. 4th down for Prattville. They just used their last timeout.
I think it's going to come down to whether if head coach Ross trusts his kicker, Thomas Duke. He did make his extra point, and it had plenty of leg on it. Whether he trusts him to come out here and kick this field goal or if he wants to go for the dagger in the wound, I guess you could say, and go for the touchdown, or at least the 1st down. I guess I would go to the end zone with only 51.4 seconds to go. I'm looking at Wetumpka's probably going to come out in man, stack the box with probably 8 men in the box. You're going to have man-on-man on the outside. You've had a lot of open receivers on the outside. Alterius Bates has been open, and Kendrick Rogers has been open a lot. Now, they've been unable to catch the football, but, I mean, hey, situations like this, you got to catch the football, and I don't think they're going to drop it. So I send your offense out here and look for either a quick screen to the outside or a quick post route inside.
It'll be 4th down now, Prattville. This is the 2nd 7A, 6A matchup of the week here in the River region. Had one last night at Crampton Bowl. We'll give you scores throughout the second half tonight, and we'll give you that one here in just a second. As Wetumpka now will call a timeout. Lee defeated Carver last night 48-14 in a big 7A, 6A matchup. Lee has flexed their muscles a little bit in the city of Montgomery against all the city schools.
Lee has been moving up in their region, and they had a big victory over Auburn a few weeks ago, and they've been in a close game, it seems like, every week. And they've had a tough schedule, and they came into that game, and it was, like you said, battle of 6A and 7A, but it was also undefeated against undefeated. Carver coming in at 4-0, Lee coming in at 5-0, and Lee just, like you said, flexed their muscles, beating them 49-14. And one thing that Lee does better than I think anybody else right now is they can overcome adversity. They shoot themselves in the foot with penalties just like everybody else, but it doesn't seem to hurt them. Their receiving corps and Tyrone Franklin too much for any defense so far. I think Prattville's wishing they had some of those receivers on their team right now, as their receiver has been plagued with drops so far in this game.
Here's a big fourth down for Prattville. 51.4 to play in the first half. They trail by 6, 13-7.
Six-man box. Prattville's got the numbers inside.
Kramer fakes the handoff, the read to Thompson. Thompson makes the catch, gets hit hard. And that's actually Rawls that makes the play at the goal line to keep him from getting in.
Yes, Taekwon and Rawls plays both in this game. He actually had an interception last week in the end zone, and he's a strong player, so makes the big tackle there, but Thompson still gets the first down. Clock's running.
Here's Kramer to Powell. Up the middle, gets under one defender, and he gets in for the touchdown. Touchdown, the Prattville Lions. That ties it up with 31.6 to play here in the opening half.
I don't know what Kramer said to his offense or his receivers, but he said in his mind that I'm going to start throwing the football to my big tight end, Taylor Thompson. Had the big catch that was called back, had 2 shovel passes thrown to him, and now on the big fourth down, they cut it inside on the slant pattern and find him to get him inside the 5, and Powell just finishes it off.
The kick is up, and the kick is good, and Prattville takes a 1-point lead with 31.6 to play, but there's still 31 seconds on the clock for this big play Wetumpka team, and they get the ball coming out of the locker room.
I don't think Kyle Kramer and head coach Ross could have done that any better. They executed that drive to perfection, getting the first downs when needed on fourth down and third down, finding the big plays over the seam and on the sideline, and then also scoring a touchdown with just 31 seconds to go in this football game. And the way Wetumpka's offense have been performing in this game and how they run the football, 31 seconds I don't think is enough. I mean, they do have 2 timeouts, but if they're smart, I think they're going to go into halftime down 1 point. I think they'll be happy with that.
Non-region week across the state. Here's a score for you at halftime in Montgomery. Trinity leads Montgomery Academy 17-10 at the break. Another score at the half. How about this one? Dothan 13, Enterprise 3. Those 2 teams have been on Wetumpka and Prattville's schedule this year. Wetumpka against Dothan. Prattville had Enterprise last week.
Dothan coming off a big loss to an 0-3 Park Crossing team. So Dothan moving around in the state of Alabama. Prattville, I think, beat Dothan earlier this year.
Prattville to kick off. His kick will get driven through the end zone. It'll actually bounce outside the end zone before it hits the ground, so Wetumpka takes over. 1st and 10 from their own 20. Here's some scores from outside the region. Lochapoka leads Horseshoe Bend 18-0 in the first quarter. That's the latest score we have. Muscle Shoals is beating Florence in a battle of the city lines, 16-0 with 6:07 remaining in the first half there. Central, Phoenix City, the latest score we have 40 minutes ago was leading Park Crossing 14-0. Eufaula leads Alma Bryant 14-0. We had that score was updated about 45 minutes ago. We'll try to keep as many scores as we can updated for you. So here's Wetumpka. We do have an update now on Central. 21-0 Central over Park Crossing. Rawls. Outside is his receiver, still on his feet. Avoids a bunch of tackles, gets down to the 37. Wetumpka has 2 timeouts remaining. That's a Parisi Speed School first down. And that'll stop the clock. And then Wetumpka calls a timeout with 22.7 to play here in the opening half.
Quick, safe throw to the outside to Brandon Bowman for Rawls right there. And he shows off his muscles as he flexes and gets the first down. But unable to get out of bounds, so they have to burn their second timeout of this half. So 22.7 to go, and they might have I think you got to get to the 25 to get into comfortable field goal range for their kicker there.
1st and 10 at the Indian 37.
Prattville's got 2 free safeties in this game, and they're going to play back.
Here's Rawls again. Hits his receiver. He'll pick up about 7 or 8. We'll see where they mark him. but he got out of bounds. So if you're Wetumpka, you got 18.2 seconds remaining here in the half. You've got one timeout remaining. You would have to think you've got to get it to Prattville's 25 to get into field goal range.
Yeah, and just to feel safe about it, with only 18.2 seconds to go, you can still throw it over the middle, but you want to stay near the sideline if you can. Looks like he's going to try.
Smart move by Rawls that time. Didn't have a receiver open and quickly ran out of bounds and actually loses a couple. May have been able to throw that ball out of bounds to save the yardage.
Also saved the time. If he waited just a little bit, Jaleel Johnson's going to come open over the middle. When that protection breaks down, the receivers are taught just to run straight up the field, and that's what Johnson did. Don't think Rawls would have had enough arm strength to throw it to him, but he still wasted a lot of time for a loss of yardage.
If you're Wetumpka here, look at this Prattville defense. They've got two waves of defensive backs, one 15 yards off the line of scrimmage, one about 40, and they get an offsides call. It'll still be third down, but here's what I was about to say. With 12.6 seconds, do you use the speed of your running backs to pick up some yards and just shorten the field up for one more play?
I think you're going to look. They're playing really off coverage right now, so you might just look for a hitch over the middle where that defense is a little soft. You got one timeout, maybe get it to the 50 or where you feel comfortable for Rawls to just heave it up to the end zone.
And they actually changed that to a false start call. Here's Rawls, has his arm hit as he went to throw. It'll be fourth down now with 5.9 to play. And now if you're Wetumpka, if Rawls goes back to pass and gets sacked with some time left on the clock, Prattville's in field goal range.
Yeah, so if you're Wetumpka and you're going to run this play, I think you got to make sure that it's 5.9 seconds. And they actually lost a few seconds, and as soon as the ball hit the ground, 2 or 3 seconds went off the clock before they actually stopped it. So should really be probably about 7.1 seconds, but nobody's perfect. Valuable seconds here at the end of the half. It's a close game.
4th and 11 for Wetumpka. And they'll just run the clock. They'll try to be smart. Rawls, however, won't kill the clock. He gets outside. He's at the 40, the 35, and time will run out. But holy cow, big play from Wetumpka on the big rush of about 37 yards to end the first half. That'll do it from the first half here from Holenberg Field. 14-13, Prattville leads Wetumpka. Back after this timeout, you're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks Incorporated is a locally owned and operated business in Montgomery, Alabama. And we've been in business since 1985 and served Montgomery and the surrounding counties with burglar bars, ironworks. Our philosophy is being honest, dependable, and treating each customer with respect and selling a quality product at a fair price. If you need burglar bars or ironwork of any kind, call Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks, Montgomery. Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590. If you're injured on the job, the law requires your employer to pay your medical expenses and cover your lost wages for any work-related injury. Employers and their insurers often try to deny workers' compensation claims or limit your benefits. Whether you're totally disabled and cannot work or if you've suffered some impairment, attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating. For more information, go to the website protectingalworkers.com. That's protectingalworkers.com.
Because of you, I felt hopeless.
I know it was a joke, but it still hurt me.
Because of you, I felt wanted and not alone in this world.
Because you said hi to me on the first day of school, I felt included and I knew that I was going to be okay.
I had a dream, a beautiful dream. I couldn't believe how real it seemed. Up on stage, in a field of green, on the winding river, and a song you'll sing. When I wake up, I'll see you here in Montgomery, where dreams come true.
It was 1917. Charlie Chaplin appeared as the Little Tramp, Walt Disney graduated from high school, and Woodrow Wilson was re-elected president. And in Montgomery, Chris's sold their very first hot dog. Move forward to the 1950s. Hank Williams was hanging out at Chris's. Up through the 70s and 80s, many stars and politicians discovered Montgomery's little secret. Jump ahead to the new millennium. Riverwalk Stadium, the alleyway, and the new downtown. It's now 100 years later, and Chris's is still serving their world-famous hot dogs at 138 Dexter Avenue. How long has it been since you've tasted the city's most famous hot dog? Make Chris's part of your family history. Still family-owned and operated, Chris's makes every hot dog and hamburger to order. Take Chris's to your next party or event. Call-in orders are welcome. Online at chrishotdogs.com and on Facebook. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Taste the tradition.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
97.9 Jams, the new home of the Ricky Smiley Morning Show.
Hey, what up? This your boy Ricky Smiley from the Ricky Smiley Morning Show on my new home, Montgomery, the Gump. ASU, what's up?
Throwback Quickie Mix at noon, the live drive at 5, and top 5 at 9. Your favorite jams are on now. Drake, Rihanna, T.I., Nicki Minaj, Chris Brown, and Beyonce are all at 979jams.com and on your radio at 97.9. Tune in and turn up. 97.9 Jams.
La Zona Rosa Hillwood Mexican Cafe, located on Zelda Road, minutes from downtown Montgomery, is one of the area's finest Mexican restaurants. From our great lunch selection and value to our tablecloth and candle evening atmosphere for dinner, La Zona Rosa has something to offer all connoisseurs of fine Mexican dining. Come on down today and enjoy some great Mexican. La Zona Rosa Hillwood Mexican Cafe on Zelda Road, minutes from downtown.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Mr. Spence Agee, Superintendent of the County Schools, Mr. Brogdon, Principal of Prattville High School, and Director of Bands, Mr. Chris King, we present the Prattville Marching Band. Associate Director of the Pride of Prattville is Mr. Michael Skeen. Assistant Directors are Kenny Hall, Ashley Williams, and Devin Stewart. Percussion instructor is Russell Mann. Our show this year is entitled Home. We invite you to reflect on what that word means to you as we celebrate our home of Prattville in the great state of Alabama. We begin the show with Home by Philip Phillips. Next is There's No Place Like Home from the hit television series Lost. Our medley will conclude Home by Machine Gun Kelly, Ex-Ambassadors, and B.B. Rexham. And Take Me Home by Phil Collins. We'll conclude tonight's show with the Denver hit, Take Me Home, Country Road. The band is under the field direction of drum majors Michaela Baker, Rose Wallace, and Ben Flater. Drum majors, is the band ready? Ladies and gentlemen, the Prattville.
Welcome back to Holenberg Field here in downtown Wetumpka and Prattville. Non-region matchups, 6A, 7A. And Prattville leads 14-13. Travis Strom, Joseph Sims alongside with you. Again, if you're just joining us and you're looking for all the graphics of the halftime stats and your keys to the game, we apologize. We have no control over Mother Nature. And when she decides she wants to make it 99 degrees and 108 heat index and then 145 up here on the roof, as I think my shoes melted around the first half before the sun went down. We have no control over that, can't control it. So we're giving you a good old-fashioned broadcast of taking it back a few years where we stay here every time out. We let you watch the bands at halftime, and you get to watch the fans mingle around the stadium. And, Joseph, we talked about it, the keys to the game. And right now, Prattville's pretty much failed in all three of the categories, even though they're winning by a point. I was trying to think of the correct way to say it. They've really failed in all three facets of the keys that we talked about. And, you know, just to refresh everybody's minds at home is just we said that Jaden Kidd, they had to get him going here early. They had to have some confidence because they dropped the last few games in this series. And then don't give up the big play. Well, Jaden Kidd, his first 4 carries of the game, well, 4 out of his first 5 carries of the game were called back because of holding.
Right.
Maybe has 2 yards from scrimmage, fumbled, that was returned for a touchdown. Confidence. Really haven't seen a whole lot of confidence. We've seen some.
2 turnovers.
Nah, not a lot from Prattville, but and then giving up the big play. Kramer throws an interception. He saves the tackle, so really that's a big play for Prattville. You know, it was a big play for Wetumpka. And then a fumble score for a touchdown. But then Prattville's had their own big plays with the blocked field goal.
Right. And for going back to Prattville's keys of the game, we don't want to say that we're wrong in predicting them. We're going to say that Prattville just didn't accomplish them. But for Jalen Kidd, you know, you can say that's been hurting the Prattville offense, but that would be a lie. As Powell has taken over at the running back position, number 20, and he's doing a really good job. He's really showed a lot of positive running game, and he just sticks his head down when he heads into that pile. I think on his touchdown run, I don't think he saw the goal line. He stuck his head down and went straight forward, ran over a few defenders, carrying him into the end zone. So that hasn't been a big issue, not getting Kidd going. And then going back to confidence, Kramer threw an interception, Kidd fumbled. He's not really on the field much anymore, so that shouldn't be hurting his confidence anymore. But Kramer's used to throwing interceptions. He's thrown a lot this year. He's a gunslinger. You know, he's not afraid to try and thread the needle, and when he doesn't thread the needle, that results in big plays for the defense and big plays for Wetumpka. But on the Wetumpka side of the football, offensive side, they've got to they really haven't had much going for them, honestly. They had a big play from Rawls on the last play of the drive in the second quarter, on the last play of the second quarter. But other than that, when Prattville's playing their base defense, which is what they came into this football playing, Wetumpka hasn't had anything to do. And they've had 2 drives start inside the 20, 2 inside the 50. That's 4 drives where they have great field position on their own side of the 50, and they haven't come away with points. And it's been the defense mostly getting the job done for them tonight.
Now let's talk about Wetumpka. Let's focus on the 3 things we talked about them in the pregame, and then we'll come back on some things that we really didn't hit on in the pregame, but some things that we've hit on during that first half that have really kind of stuck with us through that first half. You talk about Wetumpka, you talk about getting their quarterback, you talk about Rawls. You just hit on it. He's had 1 big run. They've balled him up until then, and the only reason he got outside is because of the defense that Prattville was set up in. Then you talk about finishing the plays, finishing the game. They're in the exact same dogfight they've been in the 2 losses they've had, and then scoring early. They did score early, but they had to use the interception because they can't move the football yet.
They're really struggling to move the football, and I think that's going to continue out here if they don't make some changes. And I think a lot of that's going to fall on the quarterback, Taekwon Rawls, as he's made a few questionable reads. He's been given the opportunity to run the RPO, the run-pass option. You can hand it, you can keep it, run it yourself, or you can throw it. And I think a lot of that revolves around trust issues with his receivers, as a lot of his receivers are dropping the football for him. Brandon Bowen has been the go-to guy, number 17, and then also Jaleel Johnson, who caught that touchdown pass. But the football must be slippery out there, as both sides receivers are struggling to catch the football, and I think that's a big part of this game, is they can't throw the ball through the air. It's all going to be on the ground. And so far, Prattville's been able to move it on the ground, but only 14 points on the scoreboard.
The one thing I think that sticks with me about Prattville, and we talked about it several times, is Kramer eyeing his receiver down. which gives the Wetumpka defenders a chance to jump on it. But 2, his receivers aren't making the plays for him. They dropped several footballs tonight in their hands. And, I mean, it hits their hands hard and falls. The only receiver that's made a play for him thus far is his tight end, Taylor Thompson.
And I think Taylor Thompson hadn't been targeted until that last drive when he was targeted the whole drive down the field.
Right.
And so when you're Wetumpka, you came into this game saying we're going to play man and we're going to look at the running game and we're going to stop the running game. We're going to stock the box, and then play man on the outside. Kramer had a little success. They ran the ball inside. They had some big runs on the first drive. And then Wetumpka decided we're going to play zone. And that's really been the key change that I've seen on the defensive side. They've decided that they're going to look at the quarterback. And you mentioned that Kramer stares his receivers down. That just allows the DB to look at him, say he's going to throw it to this out route right here, an easy interception. And it's been one player to jump onto the football, and that's Hezekiah Nowden, as he's had 2 of the turnovers, 1 big interception, 1 fumble recovery that he returned for a touchdown.
Now let's talk about the one thing from Wetumpka on the side of the football. We talk about getting Rawls going as a quarterback, but they had Terrence Thomas going, then they went away from him. You feed him the football, he makes plays for you. He picks up 7, he picks up 8, he picks up 6. He has 1 play where he picks up 1 yard. Then you go away from him and you start throwing the football around. Have Rawls carrying. They got to feed Terrence Thomas in the second half.
And that's a big part of their offense. Terrence Thomas is one of the most elusive backs I think I've ever seen in high school football. What he did on that kickoff return, it looked like he was down, and then he bust out for another 30-plus yard gain. And, they're handing it right in the middle of the trenches, and looks like Prattville's got him wrapped up and stringing it out, and then he bust out for another 15-yard gain. So Terrence Thomas is basically Superman out there, I guess. He sees through the defenders. He sees through his block. He's doing a really good job. I think if they feed him the football a little more, you might get a little more scoring going on for that Wetumpka offense.
Well, we gave you the Prattville marching band at the beginning of halftime. Now we'll give you the home team, the Wetumpka High School marching band, on the Extermitech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590. If you're injured on the job, the law requires your employer to pay your medical expenses and cover your lost wages for any work-related injury. Employers and their insurers often try to deny workers' compensation claims or limit your benefits. Whether you're totally disabled and cannot work or if you've suffered some impairment, attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating. For more information, go to the website protectingalworkers.com. That's protectingalworkers.com.
All right, Monroe, you ready? Monroe!
It was 1917. Charlie Chaplin appeared as the Little Tramp, Walt Disney graduated from high school, and Woodrow Wilson was re-elected president. And in Montgomery, Chris's sold their very first hot dog. Move forward to the 1950s. Hank Williams was hanging out at Chris's. Up through the 70s and 80s, many stars and politicians discovered Montgomery's little secret. Jump ahead to the new millennium. Riverwalk Stadium, the alleyway, and the new downtown. It's now 100 years later, and Chris's is still serving their world-famous hot dogs at 138 Dexter Avenue. How long has it been since you've tasted the city's most famous hot dog? Make Chris's part of your family history. Still family-owned and operated, Chris's makes every hot dog and hamburger to order. Take Chris's to your next party or event. Call-in orders are welcome. Online at chrishotdogs.com and on Facebook. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Taste the tradition.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride? No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom. Dude, are you okay? I am definitely buzzed. Yeah. I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
.9 Jams, the new home of the Ricky Smiley Morning Show.
Hey, what up? This your boy Ricky Smiley from the Ricky Smiley Morning Show on my new home, Montgomery, the Gump. ASU, what's up?
Throwback Quickie Mix at noon, the live drive at 5, and top 5 at 9. Your favorite jams are on now. Drake, Rihanna, T.I., Nicki Minaj, Chris Brown, and Beyonce are all at 979jams.com and on your radio at 97.9. Tune in and turn up. 97.9 Jams.
La Zona Rosa Hillwood Mexican Cafe, located on Zelda Road, minutes from downtown Montgomery, is one of the area's finest Mexican restaurants. From our great lunch selection and value to our tablecloth and candle evening atmosphere for dinner, La Zona Rosa has something to offer all connoisseurs of fine Mexican dining. Come on down today and enjoy some great Mexican. La Zona Rosa Hillwood Mexican Cafe on Zelda Road, minutes from downtown. If you're injured on the job, the law requires your employer to pay your medical expenses and cover your lost wages for any work-related injury. Employers and their insurers often try to deny workers' compensation claims or limit your benefits. Whether you're totally disabled and cannot work or if you've suffered some impairment, attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating. For more information, go to the website protectingalworkers.com. That's protectingalworkers.com.
Here
you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Holenberg Field here in Wetumpka as Prattville leads Wetumpka 14-13 at the break. We'd like to thank our sponsors again. Extermitech Pest Control, locally owned and operated. Extermitech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team voted best in Montgomery. If you have bugs bugging you, call Extermitech. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Call 334-209-4590. Attorney Matt Matthews of ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com. Workers' compensation attorney Matt Matthews has many years of experience litigating workers' compensation cases in Alabama. If you're hurt on a job, he can help you get the benefits you deserve. Visit protectingalabamaworkers.com or call 334-721-4878. Mission Fitness and Performance, Parisi Speed School of Montgomery, athletes and coaching staff. If you want your team to train with the best sports performance program in the area, talk to Mission Fitness and Performance, home of the only Parisi Speed School in Alabama. Find out why Parisi Speed School has been the industry leader in sports performance training for 27 years. Located right here in the River Region, called Mission Fitness and Performance, 334-318-3639. Visit missionfitness.com. The Hank Williams Museum, a 6,000 square foot museum, is located at 118 Commerce Street. You can take a step back in time and learn about the musical history history and life of Montgomery man, who is known as the legendary singer-songwriter Hank Williams. Browse a large group of gift shop. Groups are always welcome. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Chris is celebrating 102 years in business in the capital city. Located just steps from the state capitol at 138 Dexter Avenue, Chris caters Chris's Hot Dogs. At your next meeting or event, Chris's Famous Hot Dogs, taste of tradition. Call orders in advance, 334-265-6850. Mid-State Burger Bars and Ironworks is a locally owned and operated business. They've been in business since 1985 and serve Montgomery and the surrounding counties. Mid-State builds and installs burglar bars, AC guards, hand railings, fencing, storm doors, and more. Make sure to check out the decorative handrails, a true work of art. Call Mid-State 334-313-9015. Lazona Rosa Mexican Cafe, located at 2838 Zelda Road, minutes from downtown Montgomery, is one of the area's finest Mexican restaurants. Check out their greatest build-your-own lunch and dinner selections and updated menus. Make Lazona Rosa your choice for authentic Tex-Mex and Salvadorian cuisine. Open Monday through Saturday. Call 334-274-1153. Delta Printing and Sign Company, open in 1979 and still locally and family owned. As a second-generation business, they have stayed true to their roots. They get to know their customers and take pride in helping meet their printing needs and stay within their budget. Their goal is the same now as it was when they first opened, to provide a quality product at a competitive price, a company with exceptional customer service. So remember, no matter what it is, when you need signs, printing, direct mail, let Delta do it. Call 334-271-COPY. And our media partner, the stations of Blue Water, News Talk 93.1, KISS FM 97.9 Jams, Bama Country 98.9, Yo 100.5, Classic Country The Possum 104.9 The Gump, and 107.1 The Vault. They're local folks helping local business. Call them today and let them help your business. 334-244-0961. And we'd like to thank Mac, the camera guy, who you need to call for all your corporate events, parties, weddings, and proms. He's the life of the party, Mac, the camera guy. A big thank you to all of our sponsors. We couldn't do it without them. Please help support all these local businesses as the two teams have now come out on the field for their final 3-minute warm-up before the start of the second half. Travis Strum alongside Joseph Sims. And Joseph, we talked about it. We've talked about it at length. These two teams have been known for their scoring. Prattville has scored 28 or more points in all of their wins. They were held to 20 against Central Phoenix City in a big loss there. Wetumpka has come in scoring over 32 points a game every game this year. Even in their losses, they lost 33-32 to Opelika on the road. It's 14-13 at the half, and it's been an all-defensive battle.
A defensive battle indeed, and it's all going to go down to the trenches, and that's where it's going to be won in this game, as the running game is really not really opening up for Wetumpka. And Rawls, I think, is trying to do a little too much as the quarterback. I mean, you see some questionable decision-making and him keeping when maybe he should have given it. But what about the crowd noise? I think that's got to be an affecting matter for Kyle Kramer and that Prattville offense. Is when he came out in the first quarter and the crowd wasn't quite screaming and yelling and stomping, he was in a hard count, and he got Wetumpka to jump off sides 2 or 3 times. Then in that second quarter, when he kind of started to get a little momentum going, the crowd started stomping, cowbells were ding-and-linging, and people were yelling, and Kyle Kramer had a few mistakes there, and they had to result to a quiet count, and I think that actually helped the Wetumpka defense out a lot to get faster off the ball. And that's actually what I saw in the first half from Kyle Kramer is the crowd noise actually started to affect him a little bit.
And just so you know, this crowd noise, all they're doing is getting prepared. This is their first home game.
Yeah.
They're getting prepared for next week. We'll be right back here next week for Stanhope and Wetumpka right here at Holenberg Field, and it'll be the same thing, if not tenfold. You'll have more people here for that game because Stanhope's closer than Prattville is, and they're really rivals because it's a region game now. But nonetheless, this is a non-region game, and this is what we expected. We expected this to be a close game, but I don't think we expected 14-13. I would have guessed 28-27 at the half. I would have expected, 24-21 with an offensive, battle going on. But these two defenses have just come in and said, hey, you know what? Let's show us what we can do. Let's show you what we can do on that other side of the football.
And I think Mason Taylor for that Prattville defense, that inside linebacker, really has stepped up since that Central game when he kind of got exposed in that RPO. Rawls has tried to hit it a few times, and it hasn't been there. Taylor is forced a fumble. He even recovered one against Rawls. So Taylor really stepping up his game for this big rivalry game against Wetumpka as we're getting set for the third quarter. 14-13, like I said, that's really, really close and really, really low score.
We were thinking we were going to be talking about Kidd, Kramer, Rawls, offensive guys on both sides. We're talking about Mason Taylor for Prattville, and we're talking about Hezekiah and Nowden. We've called their names more than we've called anybody in this game, and we were focused on offense coming in.
And Nowden is probably having the game of his life right now. A huge interception in the first quarter, then a fumble return for a touchdown. And anytime a defensive player can get his hands on the football in one game is a good game for him. When you can get your hands on the football twice in a game, that's a great game. And not only get your hands on the football twice, but score one time, that's an even better game.
Well, I will say this, those of you watching at home, if you see empty seats on either side of the stands, they haven't left the stadium. The lines at the concession stand are wrapped around the buildings on both sides. So that tells you what kind of game this is. We told you the parking lot would be full. It's about full. We told you the stands would be full. You think it's packed in here tonight? Come be a part of this next week for the Stanhope-Wetumpka game.
Man, I'm telling you, this is a nacho cheese game. You got to get you some nacho cheese and sit down and watch this game. Nothing beats some hot nacho cheese.
I don't know. I'm smelling the popcorn right about now.
Oh, you're smelling the popcorn? I've never been a big popcorn guy at football games.
Well, when that's the first thing that hits you, it's kind of true. You want to get it. So
it's got that smell on it.
And how about this? They come out of the locker room and everybody forgets which side of the field they're on. Now they got to switch. And the referees forgot. They were about to tee it up. They put the clock out at college football games now for TV timeouts. They might come up with something to put on the field to say who kicks off and which direction they kick off with in high school. It's been a common occurrence all year.
Well, I'm excited for this Wetumpka team, this offense, to get the ball back. I want to see what Rawls and his halftime adjustments are, and if any at all. I think they got to make some adjustments and start going to Brandon Bowman. He's the main threat at receiver right now, as Jalil Johnson and his other receivers have been played by drops. Bowman has been the go-to guy. I wonder if he will be or continue to be the go-to guy. He even handed it to him a few times in that first half.
Here's Prattville with the kick to start the second half. And again, it'll be driven through the end zone, and Bowman was the guy that was back there to return the kick with Thomas. It'll be a touchback, and Wetumpka will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20 to start the second half, down by just a single point. But if you're Tim Perry, the head coach of Wetumpka, and you've seen this Prattville team on film, and you've seen their scores, you got to be happy down by a point. If you're not winning, just be down a single digit at half.
I think he's very satisfied with his defensive play so far, and I think if he wants his offensive play to improve, we touched on it at halftime, you got to get the ball to Terrence Thomas.
And Thomas gets his hands on it the first play of the second half. But that was a box play from the beginning. That snap was high and went between Thomas and Rawls. Rawls got it and basically just threw it at Thomas in the backfield. So that all starts with a bad snap from the center.
So we opened up talking about defense for Prattville in this halftime show, and we talked about Mason Taylor, and he comes out and makes the big play, one-on-one right there, quite literally number one against number one Terrence Thomas, and Mason Taylor wins that battle.
Rawls keeps on the read option. He'll pick up about 5 on the play, so it'll be 3rd and 5 from the 25 for Wetumpka. You would think passing situation here, but we've said passing situation all night, and we haven't been right yet.
Nope. I think we're 0 for 6 in predicting things so far tonight. But that's good. That's good when you look at a team and say, this is what they're going to do, and then they do the exact opposite. Of course, you don't want to be in a 3rd and 5 situation and have to run the football. So that's asking a lot.
They'll come in now with an H-back set. Thomas in a pistol formation. He'll get the handoff, and he gets stacked at the line of scrimmage. And there's that Prattville defense.
Mason Taylor reading that play quite easily, coming up and making his 2nd tackle on that drive. And we said they need to get the ball to Terrence Thomas, and they got it to him, and he didn't do much with it.
Matter of fact, he lost a yard on that play. It'll be 4th and 6, and Wetumpka will punt. So first possession in the books for the Indians. They pick up 4 yards, and they're forced to punt on a 3 and out. Here's Grendel.
Kendrick Rogers had a good return earlier in the game.
This ball a hit at the 42. It'll roll around. I thought Rogers was going to go pick it up there for a second, and wisely lets it go, and it'll stop at the 39, where Prattville will take over 1st and 10 with 9:54 to play here in the 3rd. This will be their opening possession, and be interesting to see who comes out in the backfield.
It'll be 1st and 10. Prattville from the
Looks like it will be Powell, number 20, as he's been carrying the load ever since Jalen Kidd got off to that rough start with the fumble and just about 3 carries in the books after multiple holding calls.
Traditional setup in the backfield with an H-back. Here's Powell straight up the middle, and that play's worked all night, and he continues to carry the defender for Wetumpka. The defender from Wetumpka hopped on his back after about 2 yards, and Powell picks up 9, maybe 9.5. We'll see.
Well, that's just not fair. A pony ride at the fair is almost $5, and that Wetumpka defender got it for free there with Powell's.
Powell again makes a defender miss and picks up a Parisi Speed School 1st down for the Lions. 9:35 and running here in the 3rd quarter. Prattville moving the football. This is what we expected out of their offense.
Piles has a low center of gravity, and he gets lower when he gets the football. He continues to duck down as soon as he gets it, and it's working for him.
A little holding going on, and they don't call it. Kramer goes deep into the end zone. Did he hold on to the football? They will say it is a touchdown for the Prattville Lions, as Prattville's receiver, Rogers, goes up, takes it away from the Wetumpka defender, and scores on the play to make it 20-13 now, Prattville.
Kyle Kramer has a beautiful deep ball, and he does exactly how he is coached. You run the football, and then you run the play action to Powell. Kendrick Rogers has been deep downfield multiple times, unable to catch it a few times, but Kramer does the exact thing he is taught, and it's when you're even, when the receiver's even, he's leaving is the saying. Kramer sends the ball high. Rogers tracks it quite easily with 2 defenders near him and makes a great catch for a touchdown.
21-13. That drive is what we expected out of Prattville coming into tonight, and they don't disappoint on their first possession of the 2nd half. We'll give you some scores quickly. The last update we have was at the half. Central led Park Crossing 21-0.
Please move your car or it will be towed immediately.
UMS Wright after 3. How about this score down in Mobile? UMS Wright, a power in high school football, only leads Mobile Christian 7-0.
Wow.
Trinity up 23-10 over Montgomery Academy. Eufaula leads Alma Bryant 28-7. Ayrton leads Slocum 21-7. Thomas back deep, as they will tee it up. Hewitt Trustful leads Huffman 20-7 at the break.
They're looking to replace Paul Tyson at quarterback this year.
And again, this ball hits at the 1, and they watch it bounce, and it goes out of bounds by the nose of the football.
Wow, wow, wow. Brandon Bowman just went to Las Vegas and gambled his whole life right there. He watched that football bounce right at the 1, and if that ball stays in bounds, it's live. Prattville can pick it up. He kind of got a little lucky there that it goes out of bounds, and they're going to get the ball at the 35.
Auburn up in their game, 42-13.
On the kicking team, the result of the play will be 1st and 10 Indians from their own 35-yard line.
The one thing I will say about these non-region games is it forced Auburn Opelika's region game or non-region game rivalry game early in the year. Prattville Wetumpka's game is early in the year now. Lee Carver early in the year. Those are games you usually see at the end of the season.
But gives the fans something to watch here at the beginning, and exciting to see, as it is exciting to see tonight. Big plays from Prattville to open up the second half.
Rawls, quick pass. Be caught on the edge, but they'll lose yardage, and here's a flag. It'll be holding against Wetumpka as there was a receiver out there to block. And I think he just held the defensive back from Prattville.
Well, that's the second time Rawls has thrown a quick screen out to the outside. Really the third time, but second time he's thrown it behind him. And each time I look at it and say, oh, that's got to be meant to be, and it's going to be a double pass. But Rawls is just inaccurate on these short, intermediate throws to the perimeter. And if you're going to do that, you got to put it out in front of the receiver and give him time to get going and maybe make a play with the football. But Rawls is not giving his receivers a chance.
Rawls with Johnson beside him in the backfield. They'll look over to Tim Perry and the coaching staff for Wetumpka to get the sign as they see if they can find something in this Prattville defense. And again, Prattville's defense forces lost yardage.
Well, we came into this half thinking Wetumpka's going to feed Terrence Thomas, and they have. And obviously that's not working. So again, we're not doing too great on, we're not too hot on these predictions, but Prattville's defense really swallowing up Thomas in the backfield. He hasn't had much running room.
Prattville continues to push Wetumpka back. Wetumpka now back to their 20. It'll be 2nd and 25. Here's Rawls. Rolls right, gets hit as he throws. His pass just a little high, broken up. It was intended for Bowman.
And Wetumpka crowd and coaching staff looking for a flag, and they're not going to get it, and that's rightfully so. That was a good play from the defender there. That was actually number 17 for Prattville, Andre Gary. He's been around the football from that DB position. And so good coverage, good call from or good no call from the officials.
That pass was just a little high. Would have been tough to catch anyway. But it brings up 3rd and a mile for the Indians. Again, ball spotted at the 19. They actually moved it back a yard. Not sure why. It was at the 20 on the last play. They've got to get to the 45 for the first down. Here's Rawls. Again, pressure. He'll air it out. He'll just throw it up. And there's a man you just talked about from Prattville with the big play. But that's just like a punt if you're Wetumpka right now.
Andre Gary just probably made the play of the game right there. And not of course, you know, it being a big pivotal point. Of course, it's a turnover. But over-the-shoulder grab from a defender standpoint, when you're playing man coverage, your eyes aren't on the quarterback. You don't know when that ball's thrown. And he just turns around and looks at it. He probably only had about 1 second to see that football and then find it and be able to make a great catch, something not a lot of these receivers can do tonight.
So you can look at it this way. You can look at it two ways if you're Wetumpka. We just threw an interception, gave the ball to Prattville, or we just threw an interception that covered 44 yards and we haven't had a punt go 44 yards tonight, and Prattville takes over 1st and 10. Here's a reverse flea flicker. Kramer.
He's got Rogers
deep down the field. He's got Rogers open, overthrows him. That play was set up beautifully. I don't know what happened with Rogers as we were watching everything going on in the backfield, but you would think Rogers would be further down the field and open on the double reverse flea flicker.
Well, on the double reverse, he sold his block down there on the bottom of your screen, and he did it well. Actually fooled his initial defender, and he had him beat when he went on that post. Kramer just didn't deliver an accurate ball there. Good play design, good setup, just didn't complete it.
4 receivers set from Prattville. Here's Kramer. He actually goes through his progressions. He'll tuck it and run it. He'll run out of bounds, and he'll draw a flag.
Late hit out of bounds.
But credit Kramer. He knew the hit was coming. He got nicked and fell down.
He sure did, and he probably deserves an acting award there, as he did play it pretty well. He acted like that was the hardest hit he'd ever taken, and I think he probably could have stayed on his
they're going to
feet.
call holding against Prattville instead. But the way that the flag came out, there was nobody in the vicinity of that flag, and it was after Kramer was hit out of bounds. But to Kramer's benefit, he did sell it to get hit late, and everybody in the stadium thought that's what the flag was.
Now, we did just say that Kramer did sell it, and he did such a good job. I think that still should have warranted the flag. I think that should have been a late hit out of bounds, especially with how they're protecting quarterbacks nowadays. And I didn't see a holding at all. I didn't even see any blocking going on the perimeter. So a little bit of a questionable call there.
2nd and 20 for Prattville. Little pop pass. They'll get all those yards back and more as Prattville picks up. Let's see, they're going to mark him short. I thought he picked up the first down. They'll mark him short by about 3 yards.
Of course, that's on the far side of the field, so we can't really see it. It did look like he had the first down, but credit the Prattville play calling. Come out here on the first play and run a double flea flicker, and then that same motion with Alterius Bates actually run the jet sweep, and he picks up big yardage there.
They're moving the chain on the back end of this play, even though it's not a first down. Powell gets stacked up. He should have the first down now. He will get it. A Parisi Speed School first down for Prattville with 7:15 to play as they get to the 47-yard line, 48-yard line now for a first down.
Good run from Powell's there. Showed his power. Just barely does get the first down on that 4th down. Would have given Wetumpka great field position. A little bit of a risky call there from Coach Russell.
Here's Kramer. Over the middle, look for Bates again, diving. Bates wants a flag, won't get it. It'll be a 2nd and 10 now for Prattville.
I think Kyle Kramer's feeling it right now. You know, they came out in the first half, first quarter and second quarter, really running it with Powell's after Kidd didn't really get the game that he was looking for. But Kyle Kramer coming out firing with the football, and he's going all towards Alterius Bates and Kendrick Rogers, those receivers that were making some drops earlier in this game, making big plays now.
Kramer. Hands to Powell. No, Kramer keeps it. Gets hit, and he'll go down. They'll mark him at the 45 of Wetumpka.
That's something I've been seeing all night, is that Kramer could be able to keep the football on those read options, and he never did, just because, you know, he's a big quarterback, not really skilled in the running area as much as some of these other quarterbacks, but he kept it there and showed the power to get some good yardage.
Wildcat formation now for Prattville as Kramer leaves. A lot of confusion now offensively.
Might have to take a timeout here.
They will have to take a timeout. They ran a couple of offensive linemen in. Were unable to get a play off. We'll pause for this timeout. You're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network. Third and 2 for Prattville at the Wetumpka 45-yard line. Travis Jerome, Joseph Sims alongside with you here at Holenberg Field in downtown Wetumpka, non-region rivalry game. Wildcat formation. And they'll pick up the first down as Rogers is able to get outside for Parisi's Speed School first down for the Lions.
Kendrick Rogers doing a little bit of everything in this second half. Had that big touchdown catch. Now he's running the Wildcat, and he's looking nice. Must have had a good halftime talking to from Coach Ross.
Kramer back in now for the Lions. He'll go 3 receivers set, bunch formation to his right. And again, they'll hand to Powell. Powell will go right side. He's at the 35, may get a first down. They will give him the first down at the 31. The second consecutive Parisi Speed School first down for Prattville. .540 to play here in the third quarter. It'll be a heat timeout called by the officials. We'd like to thank our sponsors once again tonight. Here in this game, Extermatech Pest Control, attorney Matt Matthews of ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com. Mission Fitness and Performance, Parisi Speed School of Montgomery. The Hank Williams Museum, Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks, La Zona Rosa Mexican Cafe, Delta Printing and Sign Company. The stations of Blue Water Broadcasting and Mac the Camera Guy. Once again, thank you to all of our sponsors for tonight's game. We'll step aside for a quick timeout. You're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
If you're injured on the job, the law requires your employer to pay your medical expenses and cover your lost wages for any work-related injury. Employers and their insurers often try to deny workers' compensation claims or limit your benefits. Whether you're totally disabled and cannot work, or if you've suffered some impairment, attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating. For more information, go to the website protectingalworkers.com. That's protectingalworkers.com. Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590.
First and 10, Prattville from the Wetumpka 31-yard line. 21-13, Lions lead the Indians. Travis Strom, Joseph Sims alongside with you. Prattville's already scored here in the second half, looking to add some more. As Powell goes right side, picks up a first down. Flag comes out, it'll come back, and then Powell steps out of bounds. So that will not be a first down for Prattville. It'll be holding against the Lions, and it'll come back. And Powell had the first down.
He did have the first down. That's actually the first holding penalty with Keandre Powell as the running back. They've actually all been with Kidd in the backfield. So a little bit of a factoid there for you.
7 minutes in to the second half, and we've not seen Kidd off the bench yet for Prattville.
Which isn't surprising. I mean, when you have a hot hand like Powell, and he's really doing a good job getting a lot of yardage through the tackles and on the edge, so can't take away the hot hand.
Here's Kramer. Looks to the end zone, has Bates, just throws it over his head out of bounds.
I'm sure Kyle Kramer's thinking, man, I want that throw back. He had Alterius Bates wide open in the corner of the end zone running that post there. And Bates is probably thinking, oh, man, if I had a good throw right there, I could have shown off some toe drag swag for the touchdown.
2nd and 9 for Prattville from the 31. Speaking of hot, it's 9:07 p.m. It's still 95 degrees.
Wow.
Here's Powell. Left side gets stacked up. It'll be 3rd down now for Prattville.
So I mentioned that Kyle Kramer has been going through the air a lot in this half so far, and he's been going to Kendrick Rogers and Alterius Bates, which is interesting because what worked for him in the first half through the air was going to his big tight end Taylor Thompson. He hasn't been targeted yet in this second half. So with a big 3rd and 9 to go, he had a big 4th down catch earlier in this game. It might look to go to Thompson here.
Antonio Jordan checks in for the first time for Wetumpka. 6'6", 275-pound defensive lineman.
Oh, wow.
Here's Kramer.
They run
he
right
hands
at
to
him.
Powell, and they run right at the big man, and they stack him up. And that ball might have come out. Now there's going to be a scrum. We knew this was going to happen at some point tonight. It's been chippy. As it'll be a 4th down now. That was actually Douglas Barnes, the offensive lineman for Prattville. He got locked up with our guy Hezekiah Nowden for Wetumpka.
Well, Nowden has deserved a lot of credit in this game, but you can't give it away with the boneheaded penalty, personal foul penalty. Rawls is actually in the game right now playing the cornerback position, moving over to safety now. 4th down, look for Thompson, the tight end.
Here's Kramer. They'll swing it out to Powell. He should be able to get the 1st down. Now good open field tackle, and he'll be short. Let's see if they give it to him. He should be short by about a yard. He had to get to the 20 even, and he's short. He's short by about 8 inches. We can see that from here. He had to get to the 20. The ball is at the 20.5. 21. We'll go to 21 instead of the 20.5.
Now, there is an injured player for Wetumpka, and I can't exactly see the number, but I'm pretty sure that's number 6, Rawls, the quarterback, injured playing defense.
And he may be just cramping as they go to stretch his leg out. But I will tell you this, the one drawback of it being 95 degrees still at 9 o'clock is the love bugs hanging around at night.
They say 1st down.
They gave him a 1st down on that play. It looked like he was short from here.
That is Rawls down, and he's going to go back. It must have just been a cramp, as you mentioned, so he is going to go back out there and play. I mean, if you're Wetumpka and you see your starting quarterback go down with a few cramps on defense, I think you take him out.
Prattville can almost put this game away here on this drive. They've milked this clock in the 3rd quarter. We're down to 3:28 a score here, as much as they've dominated defensively in the 2nd half can put the game away. I would dare say even a field goal may be able to put the game away.
And they're right at their field goal range where they're comfortable with Thomas Duke, but I think they're looking end zone right here with Kramer as hot as he is in this half.
1st down Prattville, 3rd quarter, 3:28 to play in the period. Bates in motion, little pop pass. He gets outside. He's at the 15, to the 10, to the 5 before he gets knocked out of bounds. So Parisi Speed School 1st down again for Prattville, the 2nd consecutive 1st down for the Lions.
And I believe Prattville's found a good wrinkle that they like in that Wetumpka defense with that little pop pass to Alterius Bates, who's taken that for a 1st down now twice in this half after faking it the first play of the first drive for Prattville in this half.
1st and goal, Lions from the 5. 3:19 to play, 3rd quarter. Here we go, Kramer. Shotgun formation, he'll have Powell to his left. Another high snap, Powell gets it. And I think that high snap may have played into that on a loss of 2 on the play because Kramer had to jump and then come down with the ball and hand it off.
I think Kramer could have kept that one there and walked in the end zone, putting up the deuces as he scored on that one if he would have kept it, but he did hand to Powell. So Kramer not reading the option as well as maybe his coaches would like him to. They've been running right at that big defensive tackle this whole drive.
2nd and goal from the 8. Here's Powell. Powell fights through a tackler, stretches to try to get to the 5. They'll give him the 6. So it'll be 3rd and goal from the 6 now for Prattville.
Kenneth Cole playing that slot corner position, came up and made a good hit on Powell initially in the backfield. Powell maybe to take it for a few yards of gain, but still sets up a pretty hard 3rd and goal situation here from the 6.
Here's Kramer. He'll have Powell to his right, 3 receivers. He fakes it to Powell. He'll roll right now. He'll run around left. He tucks the ball, picks up a few blocks, spins at the 5.
He fumbled.
Did he lose the football? Didn't see a beanbag come out. It did look like he lost it. He'll get up with it, however. It'll be a 4th down, and Prattville will bring the field goal unit out. He spun and got down to the 2.
He did. He fought for every yardage, but if Powell just turns around and starts blocking, when you see your quarterback escaping from the pocket and he's got that football tucked, he's not looking to throw, he's looking to run. Powell was still looking for him to throw it to him. He's got to turn around and immediately become a blocker. Maybe Powell gets in the end zone then.
Here's a field goal. A true extra point is up and good. And just like that, Prattville, off the foot of Elliott Duke, pushes the lead to 24-13 with 1:15 remaining. Here in the third, we'll stay here for this final 75 seconds of the third quarter. Prattville dominated the third quarter, 10 points on the board. Wetumpka only had 1 possession, and they'll get it back here for another possession to start.
And you said earlier in that same drive when we were talking about what Prattville needed to do on a 4th down situation, you said if a field goal is made, that might put the game away. They do get the field goal. Do you still believe in that, or do you think Wetumpka maybe has a chance to get on the board here with the 1:75 or 1:15 to go in the third quarter?
If they can solve the riddle of this Prattville defense and mix in some runs and passes, they can get on the board. But right now, they haven't been able to do it. They run during passing situations, they pass during running situations, and even the passing, you touched on it, have been behind the line of scrimmage, and then by the time they get the football in their hands, they've got a defender standing right there. So we'll see what happens.
Especially with Rawls a little banged up and feeling some cramps. He's still getting stretched out on the sideline. That's not a good sign if you're a Wetumpka fan right now.
Again, this is a rivalry game, but it's a non-region game for both of these teams. As this ball will go through the back of the end zone, and Wetumpka will get it 1st and 10 from the 20 to start on another possession here in the third quarter. But again, if you're Wetumpka, if you go into the fourth quarter with about 6 or 7 minutes to go and you're still down by double digits, you know you've got Stanhope in here next week. You've already dropped a game to Opelika. Do you risk and get somebody injured, and then next week, if you drop a game to Stanhope, then you're already down to 3rd and 4th in the region, and you don't have the tiebreaker over either one of them?
Well, I'm a firm believer in that no matter if it's a region game, a conference game, whatever game it is, that is your opponent. That is your enemy of the week, and you put all of your efforts into beating that enemy, and that means that they got to not think about injuries right now, but think about winning this football game.
Thomas, and there's the horse collar. You can see it from where we are. Terrence Thomas carried it, got to about the 25, 26 and a horse collar tackle. And he's slow to get up. He does get up. So that'll give him a 1st down, an automatic 1st down on the penalty. A Parisi Speed School 1st down for Wetumpka. We haven't said that for Wetumpka here in this quarter.
That is their first down of this half, actually, after a 3 and out on their first drive. But they got Terrence Thomas on the edge there, and that's really what's been working for him all the way back to the first half. Not really quite as much in this one, but also a personal foul against Prattville.
The horse collar tackle on Thomas. Automatic 1st down for Wetumpka. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Big pickup for Thomas on the run, and then you tack on the 15 for the personal foul. Here's Rawls back to pass. Over the middle, finds Bowman. And a Parisi Speed School 1st down for Wetumpka as they get into Prattville territory at the 40. So I take back what I said about the field goal.
Well, Rawls actually handed it off to nobody. He faked the handoff, and Terrence Thomas went the opposite direction, but it worked out for him. Finds Bowman over the middle in that zone coverage for an easy pitch and catch and a 1st down.
Sweep right side for Wetumpka. And they just pulled their best running back out of the game on that play. So you take Terrence Thomas out, and then you run a sweep as Joshua Allen tries to get on the edge and loses 4.
And you said, you hinted on it earlier in this broadcast, that when Terrence Thomas gets going in a drive and he has one maybe little bad play or not as good play, they take him out. And that doesn't really help when you have a hot hand and you take him out. that doesn't help your momentum, especially on this drive.
So that's the end of the third quarter. Prattville leads Wetumpka 24-13 from Holenberg Field. Back after this timeout on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590.
All right, Monroe, you ready? Monroe. Ooh.
Fourth quarter. Prattville leads Wetumpka 24-13. Travis Strum alongside Joseph Sims at Holenberg Field here in downtown Wetumpka. Again, if you're just joining us, no graphics. Due to the heat, which is still 95 degrees here in Wetumpka, heat and technology just don't work outside. Here's Thomas around the left side. Gets upended. He'll be short of the first down. He'll get to the 32, however, to bring up third and manageable for Wetumpka. But again, graphics are out, so if you're tuning in to look for the graphics, you won't have them tonight. Technology is not being very favorable with this heat as the temperature has hovered above 100 again here in central Alabama. Again, we'd also like to wish Kane Young a speedy recovery. He's usually here doing play-by-play. He's at home recovering right now. Look forward to seeing him back here. Third and 4 for Wetumpka. And they go to Rawls, and he's stacked up. So if you're Tim Perry, this is 4-down territory.
It definitely is, and that play was doomed from the beginning as no offense. I think the offensive linemen were actually going for a screen pass as they allowed every single defensive lineman to get through. A little more talking going on. Definitely 4-down territory, 4th and 4. And if you get into the end zone on this drive, you're also going to look to go for 2. It's that time in this game that if you do get in the end zone, you got to go for 2 to make it a 3-point game.
Terrence Thomas was pointing towards the sideline saying to give him the football. And I don't think he liked the play call coming in from the sideline because he immediately dropped his head right after he did it. So we'll see as Wetumpka goes 3 wide. It'll be Thomas in the backfield with Rawls. Rawls rolls right, looking to air it out, throws it over the head of his intended target, right into your man for Prattville on the play.
Gary, man, he is all over the ball. That's his second interception of this half already, and I think Terrence Thomas is rightfully disappointed with the play call. I think he wanted the ball in his hands, maybe a little screen, maybe a little out for him, but nonetheless, Rawls throws the interception, and I think you called it earlier. You might have went back on it, but you still might stand corrected. That game might have been put away with the field goal on Prattville's last drive.
I was a little distracted because I was thinking about sending somebody down to give me some nacho cheese so I could watch the remainder of the second half. Here's Kramer. And a whistle before the play even gets started. Penalty flag on the play. Trying to see where the flag is on the Prattville sideline. Substitution infraction against Wetumpka. 10-10 remaining. Excuse me, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're absolutely good. But I was just going to say, if Wetumpka's in this game, and they've been playing a little bit of a zone defense throughout the game, as it's kind of been affecting Kyle Kramer, and he's starting to nitpick it now and starting to get a lot of yardage through the air, especially with Kendrick Rogers over there. So if you're Wetumpka, you might want to start throwing in some zone blitz packages and force a turnover here.
Outside right side is Powell, and he picks up a first down at Parisi Speed School. First down for Prattville. Do have some other finals for you that have already gone final tonight. Of course, we told you about Lee and Carver last night, 49-14, Lee over Carver. Bessemer City in 6A defeats Winona 31-0. Russell County 70, Barber County 0. Class 5A, Faith Academy 56, Robertsdale 13, Ramsey 55, Central Tuscaloosa 12. Class 3A, Colbert Heights 56, Cherokee 0. Walter Welborn 62, Central Coosa 6. Hand off to Powell right up the middle. He'll pick up a couple, maybe 3, as the Powell now move backwards. He'll get 3. Actually, maybe 2. We'll call it 2nd and 8. Final in 2A, Highland Home 60, Verbena 0. And 1A, Brilliant 38, Tharptown 0. Decatur Heritage 52, Shoals Christian 0. Spring Garden 44, Sand Rock 21. This game, though, still has 9:23 remaining, and it's 9:23 real time.
Hezekiah Nowden has made 2 turnovers in this game. Might be looking for a 3rd one here.
Wildcat, penalty flag flies. As Rawls and Rogers get tangled up on that Wetumpka sideline.
Well, it's been chippy all night, and it continues to be chippy. These two teams apparently do not like each other.
Well, when you have one county line that basically separates you, that's what gets you, and then it'll be the same thing next week as you got Stanhope in here. And then you got Prattville Stanhope that don't like each other either, so it's the trifecta.
Good to play with an edge in any football game, and it looks like it's working out for Prattville as they're really up in this game, 24-13 in this 4th quarter. And I think you're just going to keep the ball on the ground, not get too aggressive, not give the Wetumpka defense an opportunity to create a turnover.
Under 9 to play here in the football game, 24-13. Prattville leads Wetumpka. And again, we don't see Kidd. We see the 3rd string running back in for Prattville. As that's James Myers.
Well, everyone's getting a little touch on the football here, and it's not Kidd, which is a little bit of a surprising thing since Kidd is such a strong runner. But if you're going to go through the air, you're going to go to your big receivers, and if you're going to run power football, you're going to go with Powell.
Kidd standing right there at about the 38-yard line on the sideline for Prattville. So we know he's healthy. As Powell up the middle, he'll be short on this carry. It'll bring up a 4th down for Prattville.
I think you go for it. Stay aggressive in this football game. You might give them great field position if you don't get it, but I think you trust Kyle Kramer to deliver a good ball even if you want to throw it, but they're going to send the punt unit out and play it safe.
Those of you that have been listening to us all night, if we tell you something's going to happen, just know that it's going to be completely opposite. We've been hitting that all night, both of us.
We're really just setting you up. You know, we know what's going to happen. We just don't want to seem too perfect, you know?
Prattville will be set up at punt formation.
It'd just be unfair if we predicted everything right.
High hanging punt. It'll hit at about the 25. It'll take a sideways bounce to the 20-yard line. That's where Wetumpka will take over. 1st and 10 with 7:09 remaining here in the football game. 24-13. Prattville leads Wetumpka from Holenberg Field. We'll have a heat timeout coming up in maybe a minute, so we'll stay here until that timeout. Again, our sponsors for tonight's game, as always, throughout the year, Extermitech Pest Control, attorney Matt Matthews of ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com, Mission Fitness and Performance, Parisi Speed School of Montgomery, the Hank Williams Museum, Chris's Famous Hot Dogs, Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks, La Zona Rosa Mexican Cafe, Delta Printing and Sign Company, Mac the Camera Guy, and our media partners, Blue Water Broadcasting. Rawls fakes the jet sweep. He'll keep it up the middle. And a good game for Rawls as he gets about 6 on the play to the 26.
Jackson Morris on the stop.
Rawls is being worked a lot, especially on offense and then also playing defense. You've got to know he's tired out there, especially in this heat.
6:40 to play here in the football game. Prattville continues to lead by 11. Travis Strom, Joseph Sims alongside with you at Holenberg Field here in downtown Wetumpka. Ross, quick pop pass outside. First down for Wetumpka on the pickup. That'll be a Parisi Speed School first down. They mark him out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
Well, Wetumpka's definitely got to get some offense going on right here. And they're going to the outside, and they've got to actually start. They got 3 timeouts, but you got to start getting out of bounds every chance you can get, because every second right now at this point, down 2 scores matters in this football game. So you've got to start thinking about the clock right now.
That was Davinio Davis for Wetumpka, making the catch and using his blockers. Ross fakes the handoff. And he may have fumbled. He did fumble. And he's down. And he hasn't moved.
Cedric Daniels laid the boom on Rawls right there, and Rawls has his second fumble.
We'll take a timeout as Rawls has not moved since he got hit. You're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
So Taekwon Rawls is up. Looked like he may have been knocked out on the play. Hard to tell where we are, but he didn't move for about 30 to 45 seconds. They rolled him over. Once they were able to get him to talk, when they rolled him over, they sat him up. Rawls walks off on his own, and that's a good sign for Wetumpka. He'll be done for the night, though, after that hard hit. And a lot of folks on this Wetumpka side wanted a targeting call. But it's hard to tell, especially when it's in the middle of the pile, as Tim Perry's out talking to one of the officials now. So that's one of those things, as we've talked about it, and that's what we just talked about with 6 minutes to play, and you're down. And you talked about it doesn't matter, region game, non-region game. But now, if he has to go through concussion protocol, if that's what it is, you may just now have lost your starting quarterback for maybe the biggest region game you got next week.
Well, not only your starting quarterback, but your starting safety on defense as well. That's a big loss for Wetumpka right here. And a lot of people were upset that the call wasn't made. And one fan in particular started yelling at the Wetumpka sideline.
And what do you do if you're Prattville? You just run right up the middle with power.
And that you might have ignited a Wetumpka team, but I still stand by what I said. And if you're a team, you play to the fullest no matter what game it is. There's no off week in football except for when you're not playing a team. And if there's an opposing team across the field from you, I think you put your hardest out there, and that's what Rawls did. And it's unfortunate that he got hurt. He'll go into concussion protocol, but hopefully he'll be back next week.
Well, we'll know if he's back next week. We'll be right back here next Friday night for Wetumpka Stanhope. Here's Kramer, and Prattville puts the ball in the air. This is still on the feet, and now there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on over there on that play as Bates makes the catch. Let's see if they give him a first down. They're actually going to say it was Rogers. It was actually Bates that made the catch. Rogers dove in after the play over the top of the pile. So it'll be third down.
Rogers has been getting into it with a couple of defenders all night long. The officials got to keep an eye out. They don't want a brawl to set out, and that's what it's looking like, as it's been chippy all night long.
5:24 to play. Clock stopped. Now it runs. Powell up the middle, picks up the first down, and goes down. A Parisi Speed School first down for Prattville.
James Myers on the carry. Tackle made by Kenny Cole. Play against the Prattville first down. First 15 at the Indian 27.
5:19 to play here in the football game, 24-13. Not sure why the clock was stopped. Now they started.
Was that actually the heat timeout, or?
No, they took the heat timeout, but the play clock started at 40. The game clock didn't start till the play clock got down to 23 seconds. Here's Kramer. He'll hand to Powell. Powell up the middle. Gets 4, maybe 5. We'll see where the spot is as we're under 5 minutes to play now here in the football game.
Well, Wetumpka doesn't need to lose hope just yet. Yes, the clock is under 5 minutes, and the score is 24-13, but you're only down by 2 possessions, and that's not an astronomical amount when you have such a big play offense. Yes, it has not been clicking tonight, but it doesn't mean it's not going to click the rest of the game. So you got to have a little hope here and have some grit and play some strong defense here.
Kramer will let this play clock go down. He snaps it with about 7, gives it to Powell. Powell around left in. He'll get stacked up with the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 5 now for Prattville. With 4:05 as we go now under 4 minutes to play here in the football game. Wetumpka, 3 timeouts remaining. Prattville has 2.
Play fast today, it'll be 3rd and 6.
If you're Wetumpka and Prattville picks this first down up, you have to start using your timeouts. You've got 3 remaining.
And you definitely want to use them all on defense if you can, because you can control the clock on offense.
Kramer to Thompson. Thompson around the right side. He'll pick up the first down. He'll step out of bounds at the 13, and that's a Parisi Speed School first down for Prattville.
That's definitely not a heads-up play from your senior tight end, Taylor Thompson. When you get that ball and you're in a situation where you're up and you're under 4 minutes, you want to go down inside the boundaries. You definitely don't want to go out of bounds. So not really a heads-up play there from the senior tight end.
Prattville can pick up a first down inside the 3. And if they do that, you can pretty much go ahead and end this game. If they pick up a first down, there's only 3:32 remaining now. Kramer to Powell. Powell stacked up at about the 11. Let's see if he gets the 10.
It'll be interesting to see how head coach Tim Perry uses his timeouts now with 3 minutes approaching.
They'll give him the 10. So it'll be 2nd and 7. Actually, they'll give him the 11 just outside the 10. So 2nd and 8. Kramer takes the snap, hands to Powell. Powell around right side, inside the 10, down to about the 6. A 5-yard gain on the play.
Bounces down to the 6-yard line.
Good running from Powell. You don't want to get all of the yardage on one play. You want to use maybe 2nd to 3rd down to get the first down. That way the clock continues to run and you can run some more clock.
3rd and 3 now for Prattville. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with the game clock. It stopped again on a play up the middle. And 8 seconds ran off the play clock before they started it again.
Well, I said earlier that nobody's perfect.
I thought Wetumpka had called timeout on the play. Here's Bates. He'll go around left side. Dives for the pylon. Did he get in or did he step out? Let's see. The side judge got wiped out on the play. Still no motion yet for first down or touchdown, and they'll mark him down at the 1. So Prattville gets a first down on the play, so it'll be, actually they'll mark him at the 2. So it'll be 1st and goal Prattville from the 2-yard line.
Well, if they get a touchdown here, you can definitely hang it up for Wetumpka. There's no way they can come back down 3 scores with 2:01. Goal line stand situation here.
Powell up the middle. And Powell in for his third touchdown of the night for Prattville. And that puts the Lions up 30-13, and that'll do it with 1:58 to play here at Holenberg Field.
Well, that was the dagger. You said earlier that it was the field goal, and technically you were right. This secures that, maybe a security blanket here. 30-13, Powell. There's another injured player.
Timeout for the injured player.
So 1:58 remaining here in the football game. Prattville will attempt the extra point. It's 30-13 at this point. If the extra point goes through, it'll be 31-13.
Kenny Cole, the injured Indian player.
But again, you look at the schedules of these two teams. Prattville, a big region game next week at home at Stanley Jensen. The remainder of their schedule, they got Robert E. Lee next week. That's a big region game. Then they got Jeff Davis on the road, Auburn at home, Smith Station at home, Lanier at home. So Prattville closes the schedule out with 4 out of 5 at home, including the last 3 for Wetumpka. Big region game next week against Stanhope. Then they go on the road at Benjamin Russell. And then they host Selma and Muscle Shoals here at Holenberg Field to round out the 2019 schedule. It'll be a big week for both of these teams next week. Lee comes in undefeated against Prattville, and Wetumpka needs a win against Stanhope Elmore. They blow the play dead. It's actually an inadvertent whistle because they blew the play dead on an offside. They could have let the play go, but instead they called it dead, and that was just an inadvertent whistle. So they'll re-kick. But 2 big games, those are for these 2 teams next week. Prattville Lee, Stanhope, and Wetumpka.
2 big region games for them, and Prattville is going to need to make a move on Lee. Like you said, they are undefeated in their region and also on the season. Prattville does have a loss to Central, so if they plan on moving up in the region, or they possibly could take first place if they beat Lee and then Lee beats Central. So they need some help, but it is possible, and they also have to beat Auburn on that schedule, and Auburn and Lee battled it out a few weeks ago, and that was a tough one. So Prattville's got a strong schedule ahead of them, as well as Wetumpka with the big region game against Stanhope next week. That's going to be a good one.
Well, Auburn picks up a big non-region win over Minor, 49-13 tonight, to set the stage for Auburn for the remainder of the year. Try to get you some scores from around the area. How about this score? Trinity over MA as the kick is up and the kick is good. Trinity defeats Montgomery Academy 33-10.
Wow.
Billingsley beats Prattville Christian 49-8.
Wow.
UMS Riot ends up putting 2 more touchdowns on the board. They win 21-0. How about this score? Reeltown 33, Maplesville 21. That game just went final. That's a big win for Reeltown in non-region games.
Those penalties offset. And the point after is good.
I'm assuming that Pike Road wins tonight. They've got a big game coming up with St. James. Can't see the final score, but they've got a graphic up on their Twitter page, just Pike Road.
So we've talked about it a little bit, whether Wetumpka just needs to go ahead and kind of go down in this game to accept defeat. I said that you fight all the way through it, and I think you still do that, but you do that in a smart manner. I'm kind of going back on my word here. I think they just should really run the football, maybe get out of here without any more injuries, and accept defeat to the Lions tonight here at home.
31-13. Prattville leads Wetumpka 1:58 to play here in the football game. Travis Jerome, Joseph Sims alongside with you. Again, if you're just joining us here at the end of the game, graphics, we couldn't get them up tonight due to the heat and technology. And Kane Young, we wish a speedy recovery to him and hope he'll be back soon as he recovers from an illness as well. Here's the kick from Prattville, and just like the previous 4, it'll go through the back of the end zone for a touchback.
Flag on the field.
Personal foul against Prattville. And then they'll go personal foul against Wetumpka, offsetting again after the play. That's back-to-back plays. One on the extra point and now on the kickoff.
Looks like Prattville is going to put in a few backup defenders here on defense. Two starters still remain out there, but they're going to avoid injury here on the defensive side with the big region game next week against Lee.
And actually, they'll take the personal foul penalty away from Prattville and just call it on Wetumpka, so it'll be half the distance to the goal. 1st and 10 from the 10 for Wetumpka, 1:58 to play here in the football game.
Wildcat situation with Rawls out.
Wetumpka will just run the football.
He lost it.
And he lost it inside the 5. And did Prattville pick it up?
They did indeed.
Prattville will have it 1st and goal at the 3. Now mark it now at the 2. And the referee had his penalty flag in his hand the entire time when he blew the whistle. I thought he was going to throw it for something. I guess he picked it up and didn't have enough time to put it in his belt.
Travis, you know who picked up that football?
Mason Taylor.
Jaden Kidd. Number 6.
Let's check and make sure there's not 2 number 6s for Prattville.
Most likely is, but it'd be nice if it was Jaden Kidd.
Well, we just want to make sure if it's not Jaden Kidd, we give the. No. They do have a number 6 on defense, Winter White.
Oh, man. Try to give Jaden some credit.
Now we've got a whistle and an official timeout.
Timeout by the official.
Not sure what this is, if it's the band. But he's over talking to Caleb Ross. I know what it was. Tackle didn't report as being eligible, so he went over to ask Ross, and now Wetumpka takes a timeout with 1:48 to play here in the football game. We'll take a short timeout with them. You're watching the Extermitech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Montgomery's best country is on Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Bama Country with Bubba and Christy every weekday morning 5:30 to 10 a.m. We're gonna have a house party. Bama Country playing today's best country and all the country legends. Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Listen to Bama Country 98.9 WBAM.
1:48 to play here in the football game, 31-13. Prattville leads Wetumpka. Wetumpka still has 2 timeouts remaining. Prattville has 2 timeouts remaining. Stick with us at the end of the game as we'll wrap it up here from Wetumpka. Trying to figure out if we need to do just like a post-game wrap or the sign we're getting from our production team is wrap it up. So we were thinking Dr. Dre or somebody on that end on wrapping up. I think we got clarification on it, however. And Prattville will go into the victory formation as Caleb Ross will do the right thing and kill the clock and walk out of here without anything else. And that may have been a little bit of what that official was over there talking to him right before the timeout, because it's been a little chippy here throughout, and it got real chippy on the last 2 plays before that last offensive play for Wetumpka.
Well, the official went and talked to both coaches, probably asked Coach Ross if, you're just going to go ahead and kneel, then also asked Mr. Perry, Coach Perry, hey, listen, they're going to kneel. Don't call your timeouts, and we'll walk out of here with no more fights or injuries.
Prattville's only got to kneel it down one more time, and that'll do it, as the clock is now under 50 seconds, play clock at 30. So this will do it, and then they'll just let the clock run off. They've already started removing goalpost pads and yard markers and pylons and putting them in the shed as this game is about over. That's the final kneel down from Kramer. That'll do it as Prattville will walk out of here with a 31-13 win over Wetumpka in a rivalry non-region game. We'll stay here as the clock will run out here shortly, and we'll wrap it up from Holenberg Field in Wetumpka.
Well, we came into this game with a key for Wetumpka is getting Taekwon Rawls on the perimeter and getting him running the football. He never actually did get going, especially running the football. Had one passing touchdown, but unfortunately he got injured. He's going to be in concussion protocol all week. We'll find out whether or not he'll be able to play against Stanhope next week. That's going to be a big decision there. But Kyle Kramer and that passing game got going in the second half, especially with Kendrick Rogers with the big touchdown on the first drive of the second half. And Kramer ended up with a big game and ultimately led his team to victory in this big rivalry game, 31-13.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590. If you're injured on the job, the law requires your employer to pay your medical expenses and cover your lost wages for any work-related injury. Employers and their insurers often try to deny workers' compensation claims or limit your benefits. Whether you're totally disabled and cannot work or if you've suffered some impairment, attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating. For more information, go to the website protectingalworkers.com. That's protectingalworkers.com.
All right, Monroe, you ready? Monroe. Ooh.
I think Joseph just wrapped that entire thing up without me even having to come in and say anything else. So, Joseph, you just wrapped our postgame up for us. We'd like to thank our sponsors again. And tonight's broadcast, the Extermatech Pest Control, attorney Matt Matthews of ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com, Mission Fitness and Performance Parisi Speed School of Montgomery, the Hank Williams Museum, Chris's Famous Hot Dogs, Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks, Lazona Rosewood Mexican Cafe, Delta Printing and Sign Company, Mac the Camera Guy, our media partners, the stations of Blue Water Broadcasting. For executive producer Stephanie House, director Stephen Mock, cameraman Ron Simpson, our audio man tonight, Mr. Tommy House. I'm Travis Jerome and my partner Joseph Sims. Once again, final score, Prattville 31, Wetumpka 13. We'll be back here next week for Wetumpka Stanhope at Holenberg Field. Until then, thank you for watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.